Hey, what's going on? Merry Christmas, everybody, for those that are listening to this podcast on its release date. I hope everyone enjoyed their time, with their family and friends and stuff like that. And I hope you took the opportunity to reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. But yeah, so anyway, what we're here for today is the second part of the podcast with myself and Michael Farrell and Rango and Frohlich. So, hey, this is episode 20. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to check out my website, jkramergraphics.com. Hit me up on Instagram at jkramergraphics. That's Kramer with a C, by the way. JCRAMER graphics. And yeah. All right, enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week. Do you go out very often still?
I'd say like once a week, maybe on like Saturday.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 29, about to be 30 in May.
You
so
old
like,
fuck.
Yeah,
he is.
When I got to the unit, I was already 21 and everything, and had like a full. Like,
Yeah, you were.
went
What
to
were you?
school
25
before.
when you came to the unit? 24.
Rango, when he came to the unit, he had a sick-ass car, too.
Yeah, I heard he got a good deal.
Dude, I always had a thing to like mess with the junior Marines because I don't know. But when Jersey showed up, you were like what 22 or something already?
I was 24.
24. I remember laying in and just calling you like a war dodger. Like, we could have fucking used you. Do you remember that? Because I'm like, why didn't you join when you were 18? You knew the war was going on.
There's people dying out there, man.
Funny story. Like I really wanted to, and I actually tried. But my dad passed down the GI Bill to me, and he was like, "You're gonna fucking go to college first, and if you get in, you're gonna be an officer." And I was like, "Ah, shit, that kind of makes sense." So
What branch was your dad in?
Same thing, Marine Corps.
Oh, okay. Was he a radio operator?
No, I think he got in as like something. I think it was like open contract, and he was like a bulk fuel specialist. But he ended up getting lucky.
Oh, shit.
And,
His
like,
dad was a fuckboy.
he lat moved to like I don't know what it is, but like crew chief. So he was
okay.
towards the end of his like 5 years in, he was like a door gunner
Nice.
on a Huey.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
So he I don't know, he got lucky and fucking was able to like lat move into a cooler fucking MLS. But yeah, he was just like, and it made sense to me because he was like, you either need to join the Air Force or fucking become an officer. And like I went to school for like 2-3 years and I just wasn't feeling that shit. I was just like, I wanted to fucking join the Marine Corps
Yeah.
out of high school. I was like, fuck this. Kind of just like dropped out like right towards the end of my degree. Like I was almost graduated, but I still just.
What was your major?
IT. So what I do
okay.
now, but it was like I would be in it for a lot longer than I am now if I had stuck with it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. What year did you join?
2014 in December.
2014. Okay. What year did you join, Ringo?
2009.
And you?
2010.
Nice.
August. I graduated the day before Thanksgiving. So we had Thanksgiving
boot camp?
to Christmas off. We had like 33 days of boot leave off, which was by far the worst thing.
You forget everything.
So
You come back and you're just like a regular dude again.
No, like no shit. We came back. So it was like you did.
I wonder how many guys got kicked out for drugs.
We had like 21 days of recruiter's assistance. My recruiter luckily was like super fucking cool, and he's like, "Hey, dude, come in." Like I went in I think 3 times out of that month. But some dudes like were worked like 14-hour days, like at the mall. You know, like, you get back to boot
They're
camp.
trying to make quota.
Slaving for the recruiter.
So I got back and dudes showed up at MCT. Like you fly into the airport, they have like the USO thing where the gun or the first sergeant's there and all that shit. He was there like in his alphas, waiting for boots to show up. Dudes were showing up with like no shit beards, no haircuts. One dude showed up in his alphas with his combat boots on. It was like everyone.
They all have ODA contracts.
I saw this movie before I came.
Dude. So. It was like I knew to get a haircut, but it wasn't like in Illinois. Nobody knows what a high and tight. So I'm like, just do a zero.
Give me a fade here.
It was out of rags, but it was still like a really good like a try.
You got an attempt.
And I didn't even get fucked with. No one even looked at me as compared to like these dudes. One dude couldn't even button his alpha blouse. So he had that shit. I swear to God, and I'm like, I'm totally cool.
Dude,
with it.
Rogers,
Like, this is easy.
we were doing something, and Rogers one day, I think I asked, I don't remember what happened. I asked Rogers, he was on my team. I was like, hey, what do you have going on with this? Or something happened. He's like, hey, I was really hoping I could get recruiter's assistance for this, and this. And I'm like, bro, you're the fucking fleet. Like, what the I was like, I haven't heard the term recruiter's assistance in years. I'm like, I cannot believe you just fucking said that to me.
I kept my boot camp tied like my whole 8 years.
Oh, dude, for sure.
And,
it might still be somewhere.
So I started,
yeah.
So
Probably hanging around my Alpha shirt.
I started
somewhere,
wearing I started wearing a clip-on, the little clip-on tail.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, and I was chewing some fucking ass. I think I forget who.
Tell me it
the
flipped
Marines.
Might have been fell off. Yeah, I was yelling at Chastain for his uniform like presentation thing, whatever. I think it was Chastain, and my tie like flipped like that, and my fucking little tie clasp was still holding it on me.
Like, well, that's
so I'm like, you motherfucker, like you not fucking presentable, and it like fell off, and I'm like trying to fix it. Get the fuck out of here!
quit looking like a piece of shit.
Yeah, you piece of shit. You don't care about your uniform, and my little tie's like.
I like Chastain though. He ended up being.
He
cool.
was legit. He's a great dude.
He was a good dude to go out with. He was a good dude to like.
All around good dude.
Yeah.
He was.
I don't think I ever really hung out with him. I didn't really hang out with you guys as much because I showed up to ANGLICO. Well, first
Chuck was super like standoffish.
And I
also.
showed up and it was like, welcome to ANGLICO, and check out and go to the MEU. And I did that first MEU deployment, came back, and then we were busy as fuck.
If you were not so before I was not part of Salt Chuck, and I didn't like you guys at all because you
They're
guys
a cult.
Who, Delta?
So before I was part of Chuck, I didn't like
Salt
Chuck.
CAG?
I'm like, these guys are fucking assholes. Like, total. If you're not part of Chuck, you're a piece of shit. But once I got into Chuck,
It's cool to be on
I
the
was
end.
like, it's almost like you step into a bubble.
It was
you step into
awesome.
like a physically different where you're like,
That's probably
you're
like,
fuck everybody
Yeah.
else.
I think that's kind of like that with every team, though.
Dude, I don't know, man. We had like this.
Yeah, to another
It,
level.
because of Rango, Rango was like the hub of like just fuckury.
I was Chuck the
so
whole
like
time.
Monday, you would check into Rango like, hey, who do we hate this week? Like, what's going on? Bud? Like, who do we got on the docket for today? Oh, Nutter fucked up, got him.
Let's see,
And Drayson didn't shave. All right, we got him. Oh, and then Delta did this. Like.
Dude, I was always causing like first brigade out. I was like every time they'd come out, like, oh, worst brigade. Yeah. I was Chuck the whole time from
Oh, were you?
yeah from 2012 to 2017.
You went to Afghanistan with them, right?
We were
Twice.
Black Sheep.
Oh, I didn't know you went twice.
Yeah, I did all Chuck, and then I did the MEU with Chuck.
When was your first Afghan deployment?
2012. So I got to ANGLICO, and so I came from 9th Comm. I didn't know shit. I hadn't touched a radio since 2.5 years prior, and I was a corporal.
Because you're an armory bitch.
Yeah, I was an armory. Exactly. You could capital B that. And
Which isn't really a bad gig.
It was fucking terrible.
Dude,
Dude,
you gotta wake
people
up
would
weird-ass hours.
I would, but you know what? People would fuck with me because I was like,
day you have nothing to do though during the day.
no, there's plenty of shit to do.
It's just
Really?
the mornings that
Yeah.
fuck you.
So people would so this is like if anyone's still in, like, don't fuck with the armory because like I was
Don't
in
volunteer for that shit.
I was in there, and as a lance corporal, I'd go to the PX on main side to get my fucking ass chewed, and I would go and fill up a So our armory didn't have a bathroom in it, so I used to have to pee in bottles.
What?
Yeah.
Nasty fuck.
So like, because it's either I gotta lock up, I gotta fucking do my site count, whatever, all that
you
stuff.
gotta turn the alarm on.
Turn
all
all
that shit.
all that stuff. So I would pee in a Windex bottle, and the staff NCOs that would fuck with me, I'd just spray my fucking pee on their weapons. Swear to God. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I remember their name. I'd get back, look them up, rack number 247. Okay, you're going to get some pee on your barrel. And then I would rotate their upper receivers on the range every week. I'm like, fuck you. You're going to clean this shit.
You're a piece of
Go
shit.
ahead, bring on the
I'm
hate.
cool with
Send the
that.
hate
I like
mail. I was a Lance Corporal, but I was a fucking Lance Corporal. Send the fucking hate mail.
A lot of dudes will. I knew a kid. I knew a kid who was a comm kid, and I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with you, man. And I'm not gonna tell you the unit. He was a data guy. I'm not gonna tell you the unit or when I was with him. But this dude was like, yeah, fucking Sergeant Major pissed me off, and I had to go ahead and work on his computer, so he wasn't in there, and I beat off on his fucking keyboard.
Holy shit.
He's like,
I
when
wouldn't
someone
do
does
that.
that, he's like, I beat off on their shit. He's like, fuck them. And he was like 100% serious. He's like, dude, I probably beat off 5 times a day. And I'm like, get
That's
the fuck
rough.
out of here. And he's like, when someone fucks with me, he's like, I beat off on their
I bet
computer.
I
And
bet
I'm
he's
like,
like,
what
please.
the fuck?
I
I'm
was like,
sitting
if
here,
someone fucks with me, I shit on their laptop.
It's
I
the
just
end of
shit
the
on
day.
them.
Like, please don't be mean.
I'm
to
sitting
me.
here like, what the fuck is wrong with you,
know, like-
dude?
Yeah, you
But
don't even
there's
want
people.
You're like,
You know what's weird is like people like that exist.
It was just pee. It was just pee. I don't want to be compared to that guy.
Well,
But
what's better?
So I worked my
What's
way
better,
ever
though?
getting in the armory. I had 2 packets with Zool and with Chuck. They wanted me to be one. And I just never turned them in.
But it was
I would seriously shred them. I'm like, fuck this.
Anglico would do it like collateral. Like I was there all day.
Well,
like,
every
from
team had to
4
have an armory rep.
Yeah.
So
It was JT for us, right? JT and Carrillo.
Who always, Carrillo. We would just make Carrillo. Remember, we'd be sitting back waiting for Carrillo to be done. Hey, motherfucker.
he would be like, he would text me. He would text me, you guys going to go to In and Out? I'm just chilling in the armory. I'm like, motherfucker, we're in the classroom waiting for you.
The armory was a cool place to go escape, though. Like,
You
if
go
you're
take a
just trying to
nap,
fuck
yeah.
off.
They
Snapping, yeah.
they did like a, I think we got a new supply person or somebody showed up and they did like an inventory of the armory. And they're like,
PS-15s were found there.
and they were like, what the fuck? Like some of the shit that we had, they're like, why do we have, these different optics? Why do we have, and they were trying to get rid of some of it. I'm like, why the fuck would we get rid of it?
They were trying to get rid of the shit that came in that box. What was it?
They were also getting rid of
the
that.
keyhole
the
suite.
keyhole suite. They were trying to get rid of some of it because it was the headquarters guys. They didn't know what it was.
It wasn't.
And I'm like,
yeah.
no, don't touch
You
it.
have the
They're like, it doesn't have a
LRTV.
record jacket.
Yeah, we're like, who the
Yeah.
fuck cares? Like,
It
you
doesn't
just-
have a record jacket. Dermo it. Like
What
what
was
the
like-
fuck,
the
dude?
PLDR, not PLDR, the
LRTV.
LRTV was the pocket size one.
UTMs.
Oh,
yeah,
UTMs.
No, it was UTM. There was
Oh,
a
the
range
plurf?
finder. Plurfs.
Those things are
Plurfs
cool.
was the
Plurfs.
sickest thing ever, and they tried to take them away.
Yeah, all the
I'm like,
cool
if they
shit
Just give me a plurf.
that like you had to
Yeah, because
buy.
everybody
Like,
else was carrying vectors then.
You can
Yes.
put those on your
I'll t-
rifle. fucking-
I'll tell you though, the plurf
Just
two
to
times
look
in
cool.
Afghanistan in firefights. I went to use that, and it was, I don't know
Like, no
what the
data
fuck
or whatever
happened.
it says?
No. Anything after like 50 meters was telling me 25. It didn't matter how far it was past like 50 meters. It was 25 meters.
Did you have the gate set on it?
No.
yeah,
Why
but
would
did
you
you?
argue
Ran.
about that? Why would you
I don't know
bring that
why
up?
it did it. It
That's,
randomly.
that's a jail. I'm like, wait, hang on a second. Did you have the gate on it? Can
Wait,
we get
but-
that fixed?
It
But
was giving me a bad reading. It happened in two different firefights.
I'm out,
that we
bud.
had.
Calm down.
What was the SN on that?
Well, you should have done is just.
What was the serial number? That was the bad one.
That one, I mean, I use that as a training tool to be like, look, dude, this is why we fucking
before you
learn
turned
the map and compass and shit.
Before you turned it in, did you at least like put it on your rifle, take a sick ass pic? That's like because we're Chuck, like that's really what it's all about.
So everybody, remember Hitchens was like, "Oh, I'm pissed we can't wear the mountain shoes." Like,
His
we're like,
sneakers.
We never wore
yeah,
those sneakers.
he's like, yeah, it was like.
And he came from 10th Marines too, where they were super strict. So
It
I don't know
gets
where
you.
his like
It
attitude
fucking
of,
gets you. I came from 9th Comm, but it gets. So this is the thing. So like my first deployment with Chuck, it was helmet covers. It was like legit. Like it was like
Did you go Sierra?
what?
Were you Sierra on your?
No. So actually,
Was that a company deployment?
no, I was the first one where we sent like assault. Oh no,
Dude.
Delta went right before me, and then Chuck went.
You were out on the Georgian liaison team.
No. I was like support of like OEF.
Okay.
It was like weird. It
Yeah,
was, like,
you guys
we
were you guys
switched to
working
the
on a
Army,
Leatherneck, working
the
with a
route
bunch of people.
clearance,
Yeah,
and then we
okay.
went to Sangin, and then it was weird. We were all over the place, but so what it was originally supposed to be is I was on FIC Zulu, so they broke the headquarters up to two different FICs also,
Oh, weird.
and I didn't know. So when I got to ANGLICO, I was like going to Afghan in like 3 months. I didn't even know what an SKL was. And they were trying to teach me a fucking combined sequential. Like I'm so far behind. So then I went to like NTC like a month later. It's the first time I've been like a real field op. And anyways, my first mission I was supposed to be with Sully with the Australian SF. The fucking badass mission. But they were like my captain and his two people were like they went before me and were like, we're going to see if we could get a fourth seat over here. And then they'd keep calling Leatherneck, and I'd be like, hey, sir, did you get a seat for me? And then,
yeah,
like,
go away, nerd.
yeah, it never happened. So then they just moved me to Flores' team. And no, they moved me to a different team, and they were like, well, you're not experienced enough to lead them. So they moved me to Flores' team.
Oh, so you were there in the second half of 2012 then?
Yeah,
Okay.
second half of 2012.
And you were down
beginning
in
of 2013.
God, what's the name of that fucking fob?
Nole?
South of Nole.
Yeah, across from Jackson or whatever.
Yeah, like a one or two.
It's pretty
clicks
close.
south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was close to a.
There was
fob
that
rob.
hill going up Nole that, like, when you went up to get into Nole,
You had to blast it.
It was like because you might get shot at from those compounds at the bottom of the hill.
At the bottom
and
of the
it was
hill,
a steep ass fucking hill.
At the bottom of the hill, they put an IED there, and the Afghans like fucking shot it off.
It's crazy.
They're like
man.
they just shot their weapons at it to get it to go off or whatever.
That's how they do, man.
Yeah,
Afghan
but,
solution to an Afghan problem.
What the fuck was it getting at? Anyways, yeah, Flores was great. So we'd go on like missions and shit, and Flores would like make me study and stuff, and he was a great dude. I'm excited he's gonna be on. I don't even know what was it getting
I
at?
don't remember. Flores is super smart
Phenomenal.
for the comm stuff. And when it came down to like he had a screen to go to, what was the unit called?
Wasn't it MCT?
No. He got fucked and got sent there. He was going to that.
The JSOC.
Whatever
Wasn't
the
he going,
comm unit.
Yeah,
is.
he going to JSOC or something crazy.
No, I don't think it's J. I don't know who they are. It was for like a special operations. I don't know what they do from there, but he was screening to go to that, and the monitor's like, "No, dude, you got histed for MCT." And they'd already accepted it. They're like, hey, all up to this point, everything's good. You just have to come to the actual selection process. Like everything else, he'd already gone through like 2 or 3 phases of screening. And then they're like, the 06 monitor, the communications monitor was like, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm totally cool with it. You can go over there, whatever. It's up to the SDA monitor. And the SDA monitor is like, negative, bro. You're going to go be an MCT instructor.
That's a unit
and that's
that
why
you
he
have to
ended up,
you have to like test for, like comm knowledge wise, like you have to test to get there. It was like this.
That's a legit post.
It was,
and I told him, I'm like, you're losing one of the best Marine like radio operators I've ever worked with, if not the best.
He was like the way that you
with.
describe, is it Hunter or something?
Yeah.
Like phenomenal, whatever. Right after deployment, I would go like, like you're just bullshitting in the office. Like there's nothing to do. Like, hey, you want to go to chow? I would go see like behind his computer. Like, what are you looking at? It's like, oh, the golf
That's
mods
exactly
just came out.
what
Like
Hunter would do.
Dude,
Hunter would
he
I
loved
told you
it.
that. He would go on the Harris website and like
Reading
just,
the pubs
for hours, just read it, just to read it.
He
like
was
knew how radio.
when we got on ship, and him and the recon comm chief, those dudes were just like feeding off each other because they both had all this like super crazy knowledge that was obscure.
He's super knowledgeable, but he's not like a fucking asshole about it.
That's like he was
like
learning.
he'll teach you.
He's not like Tomorrow.
We were trying to. He was working with the recon comm chief, and we were like, "All right, this next op, we're gonna stream live video. We're gonna from the fucking like what we're looking at, so they could see as they come in." And the people were like, "Oh shit! Like you can do that?" They're like, "We're working on it."
Did you get it?
I don't remember if we did it or not.
Also, DeMar was legit. I was like, looked up to him like, man, this guy's legit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, 'cause he was like,
He was disgruntled, and I loved it.
Tomorrow was a gear
open up.
queer, but he had everything that you needed.
He had
told
reason
me,
for everything.
He told me
Yeah.
one time that
He tried
when he
to-
would do his gear layouts. That remember his sergeant's name?
Oh yeah, I wasn't there when
Psycho
he had
dude. He was saying he used to have to get a ruler out and ruler measure the
Yeah.
SL3, the distances from the SL3 from the bags and everything for an entire salt, and then he would have to. Yeah, that's the shit that DeMar.
He was legit, and he had
he had a reason.
He had a reason
He's like,
for
carry this all this
everything.
way because last time I carried it that way, I murdered 16 fucking. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
yeah, he was fucking crazy.
he was cool.
I miss Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, he was on.
Why's he got a bunny rabbit?
Let me.
I don't know.
Dude, he does have the rabbit too.
Do you remember Dryer?
Yeah, I
I did
remember
not
Dryer.
like him. Dryer,
Yeah.
if you're listening, I'm sorry, but I
Yeah.
wasn't a fan.
Hey, if you don't know who Sergeant Andrew Tomorrow is, he's on episode 7. So check that.
He's
check that episode. out.
amazing. He's one of those like legends that stands out.
He talks about
He's like
dude.
a
He
Seth
did.
Counts.
What did he do? He did 3 deployments at Anglico.
I think he did 3. He did the
Was it
company
3 or 4?
It was 3. He did the company deployment, and then he did I think with First Brigade, and then he did the Georgian one with Delta, and then he did the Mew with Delta.
Yep.
How long was he there for?
His whole time.
5 years.
His whole time, yeah.
Yeah, he had a 5-year contract.
He went straight into Anglico, I
I
think.
wonder what year
if
he
you
got there.
listen to
Like
episode
2000,
7.
a little bit like when we were in the schoolhouse at around the same time period.
He got there. He got there as the company was coming back from an Afghan deployment or an Iraq
You
deployment.
know who I still talk to is Borjas.
Really?
So
Man,
he did
haven't
the
heard.
company deployment. He's like the only guy who I knew that did the company.
I haven't heard that name forever.
But because we went to the schoolhouse together, he's really good. He's smart.
Really?
smart.
No, he's a good dude. I remember he was super cool.
Was he a 6'1" or a
He
0621?
lat moved with me.
He was motor T, and then he lat
Motor
moved.
T and then he lat moved with me.
Oh, you
He
know
was
what? I
good.
might
He's
have talked
smart.
to him.
He's like mechanically inclined and everything too, so he's like a smart dude.
They had me come down to Motor T. They were like, "Hey, you want to talk to this dude because he's lat moving?" Because I was Motor T before. That might have been who
Yeah,
I talked
that
to.
was who it
Was
is.
he at Anglico?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It
I
was
think
totally
he's a
him
shorter
then.
dude, Mexican guy.
I was like, dude, totally do it. If it was him, I was like, totally fucking do it, man. It's when I left, like I said, when I left 2nd Maintenance Battalion and then I went to 10th Marines, and I'm like, this is great. We're blowing shit up. Like we're going to the field. Like
When I
we're
came
doing
there from CLB, I'm telling you, I don't think I knew what a gun was.
Well, that's the thing. I'm telling you, you feel like you're doing a Marine shit.
Like I knew
Like,
what a
you're
gun
like,
was,
this
but I
is-
had an M16. You shot on the range, and that was the only time I ever saw the gun.
You feel like you were fucking around before. You're like, before
Yeah,
it was
like-
all bullshit. Now
Dude,
I'm
I
actually
got to
doing
there at
like,
Anglicco, and they're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna. Do you want?
And you're meeting-
Do you want a selector switch?" And I was like,
and you're
"What?"
meeting combat vets that did like crazy
Fuck
stuff.
yeah.
So I got
When
there.
I-
And when I got there, Seth Counts was sitting on the couch with the most red fucking eyes I've ever seen in my whole life. And me and Racino showed up. He had like a 5 o'clock shadow, hardcore. Like as if he didn't shave Saturday, Sunday, came to work Monday.
Other
nobody
units, you
said
don't do
shit.
that. Yeah, other
Nobody
units,
said
you.
shit. And he showed up 30 minutes late to work. He was on the couch,
Dude,
and I'm like, "Who
I
the
remember-
fuck?"
I
Is
remember
and
getting-
I come from CLB. And I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
I remember getting to 10th
And
Marines.
come to find out, he came back from that battle he had.
Oh yeah.
Where fucking they were at a stand down at the fob,
Yeah, that's the one that my buddy Jack was a part of that whole group too.
Yeah, so he got back, and then I'm like, oh shit, these are the people that I'm
It's
around.
like legit.
Because
they were like
I never
hardened
been around
as
those people.
fuck.
Yeah.
So when they said something, I'm like, yo, get the pad out. Everything they said, I would like write down. Like Fig was there. I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Dude, when I got to 10th Marines, I saw this dude walking around with an eye patch on. Like the fucking pirate patch. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's up with that dude? And they're like, oh, this is so-and-so. He's a 0861. Like, he lost his eye on his last deployment. And I'm like, oh, shit. You know, like, I just came from maintenance battalion. We ate a couple mortars overseas, but that was about it. This dude lost his fucking eye. Like, that's crazy.
I came from 9th Comm, and I used to know shit, like, in the armory, I would look up, like, marines.mil or marines.com, whatever, and I would see, like, Marines were getting, like, doing crazy shit, like the 3-5 deployment and all that stuff, and I would be like, I don't know anyone that's gone overseas. I don't know. Like, at 9th Comm, there weren't people there that were, like, deploying and stuff. So then I went to ANGLICO and, like, I did the thing, like, I called a Friday ahead and I'm like, wait, what are you all expecting of me? And dude, I was already fucked. Like, you're retarded, you know? And
oh, you're that guy.
I show up and I didn't know my job because I was in the armory the whole time. And but I was like, I don't know my job, but I'm a good corporal because I can check a fucking room and I know the grooming standards.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
It was like, dude, man, it's so
ass back.
That's kind of how I felt when I got to 10th Marines. I was like, this shop is dirty. Let's clean it up.
It was ridiculous. So I showed up and I start moving in. So I'm supposed to check in on Monday. And I start moving in my stuff to a barracks room because they gave it to me that Friday before when I went to go see the S3. They gave me a room and I show up on a Sunday and there's a guy standing out. Like, I wake up early. I'm like, I'm going to move all my stuff today. I show up to the barracks like 8 in the fucking morning. There's two guys standing out there drinking Bud Lights. Like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I'm just going to move my stuff in. Like, I'm Corporal Ramirez. And this guy was like, hey, what's up? I'm Mike. Yeah, I'm Jack. I'm like, I haven't heard first name since I was in high school, you know? So I'm like, oh, what the hell? You know, whatever. So I move, I thought it was weird that they were drinking like that early in the morning and they look seasoned. You know, they look fucking legit ass dudes. And then, so I go in, I check in on that Monday. They make fun of my fucking stack for having 2 little ribbons. They make fun of me. And then, like, I go, they're like, hey, and they tell me, like, hey, if you don't know your job, spend your time in the 6th, learn your job, then go to the brigades. From the brigades, get down to a team. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in the S3, like, turning in my paperwork. Silva comes in, and he's like, hey, you're with fucking Chuck. You're coming on my team. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm on a team already. Yeah. I go in there.
Fuck, I have no idea what I'm doing.
I go in there, and this guy that's like, hey, I'm Jack. I was like, now he's like our assault chief or some shit. He's like a sergeant.
You don't really know it yet. You're like,
I didn't know.
This guy's like in charge. Or
he's like, I'm Sergeant Severson. He's got jump wings on his shit. I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy that was like Jack. And like, as a corporal, like you don't, as a corporal at 9th Comm, you don't hear like a first name or like a corporal and a sergeant talking.
And not only that, you don't hear the terms like fix, salt. You're just like,
I was fucked up.
It's a different world for sure.
I was like, because I didn't even know like later on down the road, what I really liked about ANGLICO was like after you're in a while, like sergeants will show up like, hey, I was a comm chief at my last place. I'm like, dude, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Everyone was something apparently. Like, you know, everyone was something, and now like you're the new guy, you're gonna be the saw gunner or something.
You know, a lot of times though, you find out these guys are like, I was a comm chief or I did this, and they show up and they're like, they know how to do paperwork or they know how some like procedural bullshit, but it's like, dude, fucking program that radio for this type of net or whatever. The best
thing I loved when I got there was you could be a corporal, and I think Sully was a lance corporal when I got there, but he was my team lead, or he was my team chief, and I didn't give a fuck because it was like, it was very much of like, if that dude knows more than you, whatever rank he is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you now suck because you don't know as much as him.
It's very
they were like, well, if you're a staff sergeant and you suck, then you suck.
It's all about tactics, and you can't try and fight it because
you can't hide it. Because you will be fucking brought the fuck out as soon as you don't know it.
Remember
That's
Sancho?
the number one thing I saw is like a JFO. If you didn't know it, you were like fucked.
What was it like?
Man.
So you were the only one that showed up as a boot. So what was it like to show up as like a fucking brand new guy? Like,
so like I totally got the fucking you don't belong here.
So fuck you and your mother.
The basic Chuck element.
Yeah, I saw the reasoning behind it because like as a boot, like that's just like too much fucking like responsibility almost. Like you can't take it serious enough as you should, and you should like technically go to another unit first. Like I got the golden ticket to just show up there, but like a lot of dudes they struggled with that part. Like, yeah, they knew how to fucking like clean their room and like do that shit or whatever. But like when it came down to it, like if you were a JFO and you couldn't like
If you
do
hear-
a control or something, it was just like you're on the spot. Like,
And
everybody's fucking looking.
once
When
you got
someone
called
yells,
out,
I need a JFO.
once you got called out, it was game over too. Because once you were called out, now they know.
Remember
And
that
once
one?
they know you don't know, then you're
The
fucked.
shitty thing is when you're working, you know everyone's listening to the radio.
Yeah.
You gotta
You
show
know
up.
you might be in the bunker. It might be just you and one other person sitting there and talking on the radio. But you know, like 30 yards away, there's like 8 people sitting around the radio, and they're like, "This
When you
motherfucker
hear
just said this."
when you
Can
hear
believe he just said
Nutter
that?"
screaming in the middle of the desert, "I need a JFO," and you don't know your shit. Do you
I
tell
always-
the story?
No,
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
dude.
It was just like a real grown man rules unit, and like I think it was Billups that like took me under his wing like as soon as I got there.
Charles was cool.
He
I
was
like
legit.
Trail.
He
Did
was
you-
He
legit.
was the first one to see me, and he was just like, "Hey man, I'm gonna just tell you how it is." And like,
Billups
that's
was
exactly
cool as
how it
fuck.
was.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
It's like grown man fucking rules. Like all you gotta do is like show up to work, know your fucking job, and
I
you'll be
liked
okay.
Billups.
Did you talk to any
He'll
of the
be
other
Chuck
boots that
forever.
you went to MLS school with and be like, "Dude, this is what we're doing"?
Canada, remember
What?
Billups in Canada when I just saw him and I was like,
I guess
Oh yeah.
as far as like boots that went to other units. Or?
Yeah. I'm saying, did you keep in touch with him and be like, "Dude, we're going
Oh.
and doing this," and you guys are
Yeah,
like,
I actually had a close. Well, he became like a close friend after boot camp because he ended up being in my fucking comm school like barracks room with like the 4 of us. So I was like, oh shit, that was the dude that was like right next to me in boot camp, and here he is in like my fucking comm school fucking barracks room, and I'm just like, got cool with him. He was from Minnesota, and he ended up getting put in like LAD unit, lad unit.
"Oh shit,
So he was just
doing
like,
nothing."
He was like, oh look, he was like, what you know, you get like the 3-letter code or whatever. It was
Yeah.
we looked it up, and it was. I found out I was going to first ANGLICO, he was going to lad, and then he was just like, "Oh well, fuck, dude, you're gonna be doing like cool shit, man." I got fucked, and I knew nothing about ANGLICO, so like I did the
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
typical
yeah.
like look it up, like fucking do a Google search, like what
it was
the
that
fuck
old
is
school
that?
video they have on YouTube when I did it. It's probably the same one that's
Did
up
you
there.
did you guys know Shipton?
Yeah.
Listen to his podcast if you haven't. He talks about like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I was really trying. I'd heard that Lad was a cool place. I was hoping to get orders there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, he
Like,
was the one before this.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I've never heard
He
anybody
sounds
say
cool.
that.
Kevin Shipton, right?
Yeah.
I partied with him up at Third Anglico's ball.
Oh yeah.
He's a good man.
Oh, he's good.
He
people.
sounds
So
like
I
a
was
good
in
dude.
the bathroom. I went with my lesbian friend who was with Kurt. I was at her Anglico ball last year, and I'm peeing, and I see him walk by Shipton. I'm like, dude,
Dude, his
know
voice
that guy.
does not match his face.
And he turned to me,
What's
and
up,
I'm
man?
like, I'm peeing, and I'm staring at him, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, he's like, don't I know you? And I'm like, oh shit. So me, him, his wife, we got hammered, and I ended up throwing up like 30 minutes after I left. Yeah.
Nah, he's good people. Him and I deployed together with 3-6. We were together at 210. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good dude. And then we met back up at First Anglico. So,
Wow, what a time to be alive.
what small Marine Corps too, man. That's crazy. You're still going to the ball like after it's all over.
That's
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
Dude, it was so much fun.
You go to the
So-
prom
I'd probably go to
after
one.
when you turn 21
You're
still.
like, you're telling me
It's
you wouldn't
funny
go
when-
to a ball if you got invited?
It's funny when you're in, people complain about
I
it.
don't
They're
know.
like, man,
No
I don't wanna
way.
fucking go.
Okay, maybe. I mean, my
do you
city
mean
does like
maybe?
a local
so
ball
if there
for the
was like
city.
an Anglico that was like, hey, you want to go to this Anglico ball, you'd say no.
Yeah, maybe I'd
You're a
stop
fuck- well,
on
this is
by.
Anglico. You're an absolute liar. Yeah, you're
I
fucking-
just don't want you to be right, you know?
It was cool, dude. I put like a tuxedo on. and
It probably
was like-
helps that you know people, though. The odds
It
that they're going to
probably-
ask him to come to an Anglico ball and that he actually
It's
knows
probably
other
super
people there.
cool
I got
that
out.
you're
Absolutely.
that you were at first too, because people probably love that.
Yeah,
Because you were at the third one,
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
work with First
So I knew
Alliance.
like
They're right
4 of
there.
her friends from there. Like we all were, and then I saw Kevin there, and it was like.
Do you
it was
remember that?
great.
Do you remember that guy that came from third that did like the rappel tower with like his GoPro on and like
Didn't he suck really
he's
bad?
fucking super annoying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that doc that was super annoying? Not ours,
Yeah,
but
there
like,
was-
not the female, but the other one. The dude that videotaped us wrestling.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
You
told that
talked
story,
about him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That guy got blacklisted.
yeah.
Well, the thing. So
I
like,
just remember telling him, like, hey, he wanted to be in the photo. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're taking the photo, dude.
Thank you.
so on my first deployment with Chuck, we didn't take a corpsman. It's like we didn't have a.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't have a billet for one. So
How
on
did
my,
you not have a... Did you just not have a person to
'Cause
fill
it-
the spot or
because
what?
it was all like by TO, like or whatever.
But yeah, but
something. So on my second one, during the workup, Doc Van Horn, which you should get him on, fucking phenomenal dude. he was
magic.
He was always coming out on our field ops, and he just made himself like Chuck Stock. Like he just pushed himself in, and made himself so valuable to where we needed to take him on the deployment. So when we took him on the deployment, they were like, the only way you're leaving the wire is you're going to have to fill a comm seat. So like he would like program radios. So like he spent like the first few weeks in Afghan, like program radios, like doing all that shit. So when he would go out, he went out as a radio operator.
What?
Yeah. Like he was
that.
fucking legit. Like unbelievably legit. And then all that other stuff happened where, you know, like he can tell that story. Like he got his award for like the crazy shit that he did. Like so amazing. And so when we came back from that deployment for Chuck, it was like Doc Van Horn has created a seat in the platoon that was like, never again will y'all deploy without a fucking corpsman, because he showed you how much we needed it.
That's
and then,
so cool.
And in the future, you realize like that seat was earned by somebody else, and now anyone can just like, you know what I mean?
Any like female,
anybody can just like fill it in, and like, you know, they'd be lazy and they, you know, not do.
To
their
all the
job
listeners
and stuff,
that
so.
we are listening to, or you're listening, we had
Doc
terrible-
Van Horn was a great fucking
terrible Doc. We
corpsman
had one terrible
for
Doc.
Chuck.
That was a great time. So okay, so sometimes I think like I'm so glad I got out, right? Like I'm still happy with my decision. But a lot of the things that people were always like, you know, you're gonna miss it. But I was always agree. I'm like, I'm sure I'm probably gonna miss it. You know, the guys who are like, fuck this, I hate it. I'll never.
Yeah.
You're like, you're an idiot, dude. Obviously, you're gonna miss it. And I would go back just one day on the boat. Would you?
I don't know. Not on the boat. Not on the
You
boat.
wouldn't go
Not on the boat.
Fuck
The
the
29
boat.
Go
Palms.
back to
Yeah.
one day.
One day.
Yeah.
Party, like, right around the time
I'd go back to one day.
One day on the boat would be
Dude, was that when I broke my
entertaining.
hand?
Just one day.
You showed up in a PX shirt. Like,
Oh, yeah.
The blue one with the pocket.
So we decided, like, all right, just one more barracks party. We gotta fucking go do this.
Were you there when I broke my hand?
Yeah, were you punching a window, right?
Yeah, I was trying
Did
to
you get put on medical leave or medical
I was
hold? You couldn't
close.
get
I
out?
was close. Real close.
I got put on 30 days illegal. I almost got a felony on my private record.
So what was your decision to get out? What made you get out?
Nutter and somebody else on the deployment. Like I didn't
Personalities then?
Kinda like I just.
you could see where the Marine Corps was heading.
I had been in ANGLICO for like 5.5 years, and I knew that I'm gonna have to go somewhere where I have to. There's no changing me. After I've been in ANGLICO that long, there's no way I'm changing like my haircut, the way I talk. Like there's no way I can go to big Marine Corps.
I was there for 5 years almost.
What about
I was
you?
there for 5 years.
What about you, Frogger? So hold on, you re-enlisted, right? So how long were you in for?
You were
I was
technically
in
out for
for-
like 45 seconds, weren't you, or something like that?
I was in for so like
You didn't get paid?
so at my 4-year mark, I had went to New Zealand and they didn't run my re-enlistment, so I spent 30 days in New Zealand, spent all my money, everything, because I'm thinking I'm gonna get paid on the first. When we're coming back, we're in Hawaii. I didn't get paid. They're like, my captain's like, I'm like, hey sir, I didn't get paid. It's been 4 days. It's like the 4th, and he's like, well, let me call the ad, see what's going on. She's like, well, your re-enlistment didn't run. You're not in the Marine Corps anymore, technically.
Like, well, fuck you and fuck
So
you.
I'm like, that's what I said. I'm like, Aaron, what are we gonna do about this? And he was like, don't fucking call me that. I'm like, yes, sir. But after my next
That's the right response, though. Honestly, that's the best response you could have given.
Yeah.
after my next enlistment, I saw like an opportunity of like where I wanted my life to go and stuff, and I knew it wasn't like in the military, you know.
Yeah, you got your fill.
Yeah, I got my fill, and then I saw like what I could do. You know?
Yeah. What about you, Frogger? One enlistment.
Yeah, so I guess like being a boot drop at ANGLICO, not going to any other units, that kind of tainted it for me. Like I knew if I was gonna re-enlist, I was not gonna have it nowhere near as good. Fucking hate life, and that was like what I was brought up on. So like it just wouldn't be the same anywhere else. And then I also knew like being an RO, chances are I was gonna get histed and fucking either go to MCT, which I didn't want to do, or a drill instructor, which I didn't want to do. So
Yeah, fuck that.
I was just like, my options are pretty shitty here. So I was like, I think generally I could do better in the civilian world because obviously you got fucking characters like Nutter. I feel like this type of person is just holding me back in life.
Yep.
So it's like, if I could just shed that fucking dead weight,
Dead weight.
Yeah.
great. Like, do good things. So yeah.
I mean, that's how I felt. It was like, sometimes I see people in the civilian world, and I'm like, if these motherfuckers can be making it right now,
Yeah.
there's no way I can't make it.
That was my main like argument. Well, not my main argument, but that was when people were like, "Dude, what do you like?" I had other staff NCOs who are like, "Dude, 8 more years, man. What are you doing? I can't believe you're getting out." It was anywhere from like, "You're a fucking idiot. I can't believe you're getting out," to like, "That's so awesome that you're getting out." Like,
Yeah.
like I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, dude, honestly, I was like, I know people back home that are way stupider than me, and they're surviving somehow. I was
And
like,
they're,
so
doing kind of well. I'm like, how
I was like, so even if I'm that dumb, at least I'm a veteran as well.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I'll be able to make it, you know? So
man.
that was my, like, okay, I can do this. Like, even if it's sketchy, like, I don't have a planned retirement. Like, it's all on you, you know? Especially right now, I'm a student. I'm doing the podcast and do this other shit. So it's, like, on me completely to, like, set myself up.
Yeah.
And like you said, you wanted to shed, like, I don't want to deal with this dude. Or no, he said that. Or one of you guys said it. I don't want to deal with this other dude. And that's kind of how it is, man. People and I think even people that are working regular jobs are the same way. They're like, I don't want to deal with this person. And I think that's why people are going more to entrepreneurship kind of jobs and like smaller jobs like that. Because they want to be around a group of people that they can work with, not because they have to work with them. Because when you have someone like that where you're like, and even I was trying to get that dude off the team, off your guys' team, because I knew, I'm like, dude, why would you send this dude out with the possibility that he's going to get attached to a foreign force and have to make like real world decisions possibly at some point? And it was just ridiculous. And just to like think that that's happening, I don't know, man. I just kind of rambled on there for a minute, but what I'm getting at is like, I get it, and I get why people also in the real world get tired of working for corporate America. And that's why I changed my degree as well. Like, I had like a last minute decision. Do I want to take this job overseas, this contract job overseas, or do I want to go to college? And it was like, I turned down a 6-figure job to go to the community college here in up in Oceanside, you know, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I went into business, and then I did 1 semester of business classes, which was awesome. I recommend to anybody take like business law, like at a minimum, take a business law class, because it's almost an introductory to law kind of course, and you learn a lot of real world shit that you can even if you're not a business owner, just a regular world person stuff. But anyway, I saw that and I was like, all roads lead to corporate America, and corporate America to me is like being. Hopefully, I get put on a cool team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope I get put with cool people. And that's kind of where I was like, fuck that. I'm switching my major. I'm going to be a journalism major. I want to travel and make documentaries and like do something different. And that way I'm my own boss and I get to just do cool shit and travel. And so the podcast is the beginning of that.
And also, like, I want to just say, like, as a 06, once you hit like that E5, like fucking, you're waiting to, you know, get your time in service, time and grade to hit E6. Like, in the civilian world, it's crazy. Like, you could just, if you're a smart dude, you can just knock out like a shit ton of.
So what are you doing? What are you doing now?
So I work IT down in Coronado for the Navy, but like specifically, I support just like 5 VIPs down there. So like the admiral in charge of like the whole Pacific Fleet and like all the fucking maintenance and all the like, he basically like tells like, all right, this is how many aircraft like this carrier is gonna get. Like, he's in charge of all this shit, and like everybody reports up to him. Like, I'm his personal IT guy. Like, if he can't open his Outlook or some shit, I have to go up there.
Frogger's the man on the job.
Fuck yeah.
It's so crazy.
Sir, how are
I got
you?
my DD-214 on a Friday, and I started that job on a Monday while I was still on terminal. So, like, in my mind, like, I'm still a fucking, like, a Marine. I'm still, like, active duty. Like, I haven't really fucking, like, transitioned.
Oh, yeah. Only
Yeah,
2 days.
'cause I know. Yeah, but you didn't have your cover on outside, so.
I'm going to, like, this admiral's office, and it's just, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm talking to him, like, dude, there's, like the equivalent of, like, our lieutenant colonel or major, like, standing at parade rest to talk to him, and I'm just, like, the fucking sergeant.
Yo.
Like,
Little does he know you're still in.
Hey, sir, I shit myself.
Yeah. Again? Yeah, again. You know.
Where'd you got these printer problems?
Yeah.
It's just like,
What's up, bitch?
Dude,
not
I
hanging on the
fucking.
hatch, like,
So if someone was planning on getting out of the Marines or military in general, and they were wanting to get a job like you have a contract, or not? Is it a contractor or are you a GS?
contractor.
So if they want to get a contract, if they're looking at working towards with the military as a contractor or GS, what's your recommendations for them 1 year before they get out?
So that's what I went through, and like as a radio operator, you don't really fuck with the data side unless you're kind of like cross-trained. But you do have like the knowledge where you got to be in a SIG shop at one point as a radio operator, like, you know. So you've been around it, and the way the Marine Corps treats the SIG shop is kind of like the fucking geek squad of the Marine Corps. Like, if anything,
100%,
like, technological is wrong, it's like, you guys fucking fix it.
Hey, fix this shit. I don't know what it is. I don't understand it. I'm gonna yell at you.
It is not working.
So especially like the data dudes, like,
worst job in the Marine Corps.
I don't know why, but like the data Marines, like, they fucking hated it, and they were like, I don't want to do this shit when I get out. Like, almost all of them that I met, and I'm like, dude, I know one that I go to school with. He's younger than me. He's like 26, and he's making like 150K or something out here right now.
What kind of certs do you think you need for something like that?
The ones he has.
Yeah, like you want to start with like the basic stuff. So like CompTIA, that's what got my foot in the door. So they offer like A+, Net+, Sec+. I knocked all three of those out within like the year of me getting out, and that definitely like set me up.
If you're a civilian, how much would that cost?
Honestly, you can download books on like Kindle for like $20, and then like YouTube. I did a lot of YouTube videos, so free. You can basically learn all this shit for free if you have the like just determination to do it. And then the test itself costs like $300, like $250. So you kind of gotta like, before you schedule the test, like, be confident in your knowledge. And but definitely like all.
I was in charge of him once.
A clearance and a cert, and that got me in the door. Like literally, like there's so many openings out here or anywhere there's military bases because the clearance. Like you already get out with one, and then once you add like that one or two cert.
And you just had a secret clearance, right?
Yeah,
which is like your basic. That's like your most basic
so, like,
clearance.
Your basic.
It's
your standard operating procedure.
Well, I think honestly, I think everybody that comes in the in the Marine Corps now, I don't know if the entire military.
I used to check his room.
I think everybody that comes in the Marine Corps now has to have a secret clearance.
Do you remember? I just time the fuck out. Do you remember when Frogger was in his rack and Nutter is getting yelled at, and we're like, Frogger just went to bed. He's gonna be pissed if you wake him up. Don't wake him up. And Rango told him to. Rango's like, Nutter, wake up Frogger and tell him what you just did. And Frogger's obviously like awake, but he's like trying to sleep because he has like duty soon or whatever. And he slings it, excuse me, Corporal Frohlich, and then Frogger comes out of the bed and just smashes that motherfucker into the rack. And he's like, I fucking told you to fucking. And he's like hitting him into the rack. And
but it was like low key, like I didn't want to wake Frolic up. You know, like I didn't want him to be mad at me. I'm like, Nutter, wake him up. It's like, you motherfucker.
But Frogger, the whole time, he's probably like, this motherfucker better not wake me up, I swear. But really, Nutter has no control over any of it. He's just like, he's there for the ride, you know?
It's like, you know that
it's a different world, man. The military is a different world.
I'm sorry, I had to bring that up because I was just like dying in my head about it.
There's nothing like more dramatic when someone like rips your fucking curtain open on shit.
I would hear
invasion of privacy.
I would hear the keys. I would hear the keys jingling, and I knew it was breather. I could hear the keys jingling. I was like, he'd come in, I'd hear the back seat slam shut, and I'm like, God damn it! Like someone sit on it, and then whoosh, Bear. And he'd have like a handful of fucking. Feed me. I'm hungry.
What was the most annoying thing that somebody could do on ship?
Oh fuck! Slam the bathroom door.
For us, yeah.
For you guys, that's only because your rack was right
probably
there.
be when Nutter would wake up.
No,
I'm talking
in the middle
about
of the night when they were blaring the TV.
Oh yeah, they would be
fuck.
because we
Gray
slept right
face.
by that
Gray
TV.
face.
That fucking
Gray
like,
face and
woo!
somebody else.
At like 3 in the morning.
Little Sapina and Gray face would be in there fucking off.
Or when people would be like, you know what was super annoying on the ship would be like, everyone has to wake up at 7 to do Raider Roundup?
Yeah. No, they set off the fucking bells and whistles at 6.
6. Yeah, they would wake up. They would wake up at 6 to do Raider Roundup, and people would come in our aisle and be like, "Hey, you guys gonna clean?" Like,
yeah,
no,
like,
no, like it's so annoying. I would hate to get woken up by hearing them clean.
Kenya?
Yeah, I'm listening to them clean. I'm like, can you do that a little? I know we're all supposed to be awake, but can you do that a little bit quieter?
Yeah,
because the
we're not
ANGLICO guys
wake up.
Yeah, we're not waking up for that.
I would a couple times a week. I would wake up for it just because I was already up.
Yeah, I would just.
What was that?
No idea.
Is this the house from like Ghostbusters?
No, it was a car. It sounded like
shitty exhaust.
I hate car. The guy was terrible.
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah, like you start your day like sorting trash or some shit. Like
never once did I ever touch it.
Every day you start the day like that.
I said I'm a better human
Sorting
than
trash.
That. I'm a better
dude.
I'm a
how
better
bad
human
did
than
you
that.
feel the first time you saw him throw trash overboard?
Pretty shitty. You guys
Even
know
though
about
it's
that one time,
supposedly
right?
all
Remember
paper and metal. It's supposed to be all paper and metal, and then plastic is separated and
He points
melted,
at Frog. It's separated,
and
right?
melted into dip.
you peasants did.
To your
It's
point.
like, we're physically having to do it, but they literally put the fucking separate bins out there. Like, if some jackass
Yeah.
could just
Yeah.
do it in the right
But then remember,
What was
Christmas
worse-
came around, so the Christmas they couldn't have the tape with the paper. So
What about when
had
they
to go
put
back
a
through and rip all
what about when they put a full dip bottle in there?
It's like when you're
No
like
dip bottles.
when someone would send you like a package and it'd be like the paper package and then the label and then the
Yes.
tape on it and you want to type them like, don't fucking send me that because I got to sort it
I
all.
didn't give a shit because I'm like, I'm not sorting this
Remember-
shit. Frolic will do it.
What kind of
got nutter.
bullshit? So, what do you think is the most ridiculous thing that people send in care packages? Christmas time. So right now, when people will be listening to
So here,
this,
okay, so here's
you
the deal.
get
So
socks, candy.
I would almost say socks because
Toothpaste?
traditionally, if you're on a Mew, or it depends where you are. So like one lady sent
No,
me
dude.
a knitted hat, like me and Breather have hats. They were like knitted beanies. I still wear it to this day. It's a really nice. I love it.
Yeah.
Then I personally think the
quality
notes.
was
Yeah.
I think that the notes are cool as shit from the kids.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are cool.
Because some of the shit they say is just ruthless.
We had a bunch on the wall
Yes.
in the. So for those that are their kids are sending the letters,
We
do read
got
them.
we got one when we were in country and
There's
it
some-
was like
There's some political ones coming in.
it was like this kid was like, what you guys should do is you guys should line up and then half y'all should go to the side and then start pushing from. It was like a
He's
fucking
sending you
tactical
tactics.
ass
He's like,
plan.
Here's the deal.
And I was
I've
like,
been watching the videos on YouTube.
dude,
What
I
you're doing
can
wrong.
I can see this like,
Slap it down on
and
the
of
bed.
course he's like, yeah, like mission brief. This is what we're gonna do.
Here's the
Jacob
deal.
from
He
North
says we
Dakota.
need to
Yeah,
rush from the
he's
south.
7 and he's fucking knows
Listen,
what
he's
he's
from
doing.
Detroit, okay? So I think he knows what the fuck he's
I
talking
would say
about.
the thing that like you don't really need is like maybe like the stupid games in it.
Sudoku,
like-
not a fan. Like I'm tired of it.
You know, honestly, I used to do crossword puzzles like crazy, so
See,
I
and I'm
really
not a
like to
fan
go.
of
Tired of them.
But if you're gonna send a crossword puzzle, quit sending the bullshit easy.
I'm not gonna
My wife
update
will
the
do-
ship's
Send the
My
legit
wife
ones.
will do my wife will do a crossword puzzle at home right now. She'll do one on the couch while we're watching a movie. She'll do a crossword puzzle. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
She's
we
a
are
brain,
not
man.
in the 1840s. Like,
It's
there's
fun.
television.
It expands.
There's, like,
It expands your length. It expands
You know
your
what's
like
funny is,
ability
like,
to speak.
They're gonna send me like a million things that I can do to eat up my time, but I'm still gonna stare at the ship's position and for like 3 hours and not update it.
What was
I'm not
the worst,
doing it.
What was the worst
remember-
candy that you guys would get?
candy. Oh, the shit that's been hot and cold 15 times. It's
When
like
you're-
a shitty
So, like
Hershey's
what?
that's now
Like what?
like moldy and shitty.
I'm talking about actual candy.
The
Like, what
shittiest
is
thing
it?
I would get would be like a package and my Monster exploded, and I'd be like,
No.
"Wow, I could have drank that."
Like the package where you get it was all green monsters, and you're like, motherfucker.
Dude,
What's
I
wrong
would
with
sling
Are
that.
you serious,
I would sling that.
dude?
Yeah, I mean on the ship, you
It's your
could
fucking
suck-
problem.
Yeah, it's like-
Okay, we
So
okay.
true story. Real talk. Real
No,
talk.
real talk. We're monster connoisseurs. You don't understand, but we are
Okay, first
monster
off.
We're-
connoisseurs.
yeah.
First off,
kind of a big deal.
Orange sunrise.
when
yeah,
we
ultra
were
sunrise, that's who we are.
at Fob Jackson and
As a community.
Sangin, bro, I had two guys in my platoon or on my advisor team, the corpsman, the senior corpsman, and one of the staff sergeants, and they were both like monster fucking fiends, right?
That's what we are.
And then I found out halfway
Catholic
through the deployment. I found out halfway through the deployment the Haji shop, because the camp was kind of split in half, and there was the Afghan side. You could go right into the Afghan side, and they had this little plywood hut, and they would sell cold ass monsters. They had them refrigerated. You could buy them there, and
it's
and
probably
all these
donkey piss.
and all no, they were monsters.
Was that
They had-
World War II? How was that?
They had all these super weird energy. One was called Bullet, and it was like a giant casing with a bullet. You unscrewed the bullet top to like drink it and shit.
Showing
But
your asshole too.
it was
And they
weird.
briefed you
Anyway,
like, "Don't leave your pen caps
so anyway,
in
but
Afghanistan. They'll
obviously
make bombs
everyone
out of
on
it."
base is a monster fiend, right? The PX truck came, and we got 3 PX truck visits the entire deployment. So 3 times in 7 months, someone showed up to like deliver, like, "Hey, we got a bag of chips left. Sorry, we went to all the other fobs first."
I forgot they would do that. That was
The
fucking
PX trucks,
badass.
yeah. Well, I think it was the corpsman. It was either the corpsman or the staff sergeant was the first one in line for the PX truck. Went in, they had 1 flat of monsters left. So 1 like 24 flat or whatever it is. He bought it and walked off, and the entire camp is in line. And they're like, those were the last monsters. And he's just like, fuck you. And then I was like, hey, man, let me get one of those monsters. He's like, yeah, man, $5. I'm like,
Dude, Carrillo, that fucking piece of shit.
That reminds me of fucking
So,
Dude,
like,
Carrillo had an entire ship store in his fucking
so
rack.
I was the only one.
Doing deliveries, too.
I was the only one that would dip the camel snuffs, the pouches. Like, it was the only one. Like, maybe JT would take a pouch every now and then, but it was like out of like offer. It was JT,
cool,
yeah.
You know?
But like,
you can take whatever the fuck you
so
want.
we're getting on the ship and we're like packing all our shit in like the weekend before or whatever. And Carrillo's putting like 50 cans of this camel snuffs that I dip. I'm like, whoa, dude, you dip that too? He's like, no, this is for you. I'm gonna sell it to you. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
What a businessman.
3 months from now, you're gonna be wanting this shit. And then, like,
guess what?
I would get it on my own, you know. So then he would just like, it was like gonna get old or whatever. He'd have to just start giving it to me. I'm like,
he didn't
Carrillo,
sell 'em?
No, he couldn't. I'm the only one who's dipping it. And so he's
Yeah,
like,
but hard times, man. You get hard times.
yeah.
You, the ship store runs
I
out
was
of...
getting like calls to the birthing. Like, Farrell, it's for you again.
You know what?
He's over there.
The shit out of me.
He's got
cra-
enforcers.
For like personal reasons.
The craziest shit is like when dip runs out, like when or like even on ship or even in Afghanistan, suddenly like everyone's out. It's like, hey man, can you get a pinch? Let me get a pinch. No one's got Grizzly Wintergreen. Nobody's got it. Quit asking. No, definitely nobody's got fucking like Copenhagen. And then suddenly some dude walks around. He's like, hey bro, I got a can of Wolf
Like,
Peach.
whispers it to you.
He's like, I got a can of Wolf Peach if you want it. And you're like, okay. And you're like, where the fuck did you even get a can of Wolf Peach with its stems? You're like breaking it up like it's weed. You're like, I gotta get stems
How
and
you
seeds.
see that red man like
Shitty-ass
fucking
dip.
what is it called? Like,
But that dude, there's always a
Yeah.
dude that comes out of nowhere with a can of Wolf Peach or something like that. It just like,
I loved it. It's like the most Godfather feeling on the ship when like you have some monsters and like someone's been good to you, so you're like, go ahead and take this monster.
Or Ski would
I
give me one every
bequeath
once in a while.
these
Yeah, it's
drinks
like a-
upon
Ski would
you.
give me an
Exactly.
order every once in a while. I'm like, dude, Ski, that's fucking cool, man. Like, or I'd like steal one of his because he'd leave his rack open. I stole two from him.
He'd leave a monster on my rack. I'm like, wow,
I know.
this guy loves me.
I brought my humidor, that humidor over there on the shelf on ship, and it was full of cigars. I bought like over 100 cigars and had them, and I became the cigar guy. Dudes would be like, "Hey man, my buddy is gonna have a kid tomorrow. Like his wife's going into labor, so I was seeing if
Justin's
I
like, we'll see
could,
what
like,
we can do.
I'm seeing if I could buy 10 off of you." And I'm like, "Cool, man." No, I always hooked him up, and I gave him the price that I pay too, because I'm like, "Dude, that's cool, man. Like, celebrate." But it's funny though when you're the
Rolls
dude.
like $20 a can.
Yeah, when you're you feel the power when you're the dude that
Enforcers,
has
He was
something.
terrible, dude.
Someone rips Gordon like, hey, you owe Carrillo money tomorrow, this time, right now, let's go.
I remember people like
He would go get money. Yeah.
You had the blanket over our house.
Yes.
Like, you had to like it was like a fucking back alley, like fucking like bead fucking door you had to
Yeah.
go through. And like people would just like in the middle of the night peek their fucking head in like it was like a back alley drug deal.
Do you know what's weird is that it's weird to think that when Gunny Jones would come in, people are upset because we're just sleeping. You know, like
Yeah.
people would come in off of their day to make sure that we're not having a good day. Isn't that fucking weird to think? Like Gunny Jones coming in, what the fuck you sleeping
Gunny Jones is misrepresented, and I know you have a hate for him, and I know.
I mean, I don't hate him.
He kicked. I'm not gonna say anything. He kicked my fucking ass.
I mean, I don't hate him.
Do you remember that? He lifted
I'm
me off the
sure-
ground
I'm
in a
sure-
fucking
Gunny,
sleep
he's
roll.
him and I went back and forth about some shit.
Outside of the Mew, he's probably pretty cool, but that place probably tensed him up.
He
beat the fuck out of me.
He is 100% hoorah Marine Corps. Like that's him, and good on him. Like that's his life. Like I feel bad for him when he has to leave the Marine Corps. Like he's a great dude, and we disagreed on some shit. Like when you guys got in trouble on stuff, like him and I went back and forth, and it was cool because we could talk about it.
Thanks, man.
And
Sergeant
then-
did for me too.
and then he
Shouldn't be
came,
worried
you know.
about it. I'm not worried about it.
But dude, that dude was legit, man.
No, I heard all the stories about him. When it was just me and him, he was very cool. He's just like, hey, this is what's up. And I felt like a very like.
He had to, I guess he had to play his
But
part.
then when he was around people, then he was a faggot. And I'm
Well, you
like,
got to think
fuck
too.
you.
Where was his office?
I don't know.
Which
I don't know.
No,
I
yeah,
don't-
no. His
I don't
office
know.
was
In
that
the-
office
was it
in the gym,
Yeah.
with the sergeant
Brandon.
major. Him and this new sergeant
Master
major were in the
Newbill
same
was a
office.
retard. I'm just gonna say
Master
it.
Newbill.
He was
Oh
retarded.
shit! I forgot. The
Why
black
do
dude?
y'all need to
Crazy
be
eyes.
talking to the ship? It's like,
Crazy
motherfucker, we're like, god damn it.
I forgot about him. He would always hit on chicks.
He was like, yeah, go ahead.
He would always
yeah,
hit
I
on
didn't like
chicks.
it.
Let it fly.
He was ridiculous. He's like a
I'm sure he's retired by
when
now.
Carrillo gets way up there. Same thing. Dude, he's picking up
Carrillo's
stuff.
like, what's up, motherfucker?
He would go to the PX. You know the PX like price matches.
Are you talking about Carrillo or are you talking about?
No, Carrillo. He would go like the PX price matches.
Yeah.
He would go to the fucking register and get the 99-cent chips and be like, "They're doing these for 30 cents at Walmart," and the lady would be like, "Okay," and he'd walk out and go, "Got that bitch."
If
Cheap
$1
ass.
Yeah.
isn't cheap enough, it
That's
would
what, dude. That's coming from the hood.
And I'm
man.
like, I get it, you just make it a little bit cheaper.
Dude, he's from
But you gotta
Cholo Vista,
you gotta
man.
walk out and say, "Who got that bitch?" Like to a fucking 60-year-old lady, you know.
and she's being nice.
And
going out of
she's
the
like,
way and being
"Okay, I
like,
guess."
okay.
Like whatever.
You know, Major Graham is from the same neighborhood.
As who?
he was cool. He
Carrillo.
was real cool. He was.
Major Graham is from Cholo Vista.
No shit.
Yeah, he was
was
legit.
like, dude, he's like, bro, I'd be cruising through he'd like be at a course in Coronado or whatever. He's like, I'd grab one of my homies and go home for lunch. And then we'd be driving through my old neighborhood and see someone from back in the day and they'd be stopped at a stop sign and be like, "What up, bro? What you been up to?" You know, coming up to him and he's like, "I'm not about that life anymore." Like,
He was
shit.
legit.
it's funny too, like ginger fucking white dude.
We met him out in Singapore the next day, and he was like super hungover because Wilson lost his ID, so we had to go get him to sign whatever it was. But he was like super hungover, but you could tell he was like getting it.
Well, he was an Anglico dude, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was at second Anglico. Dude, he did some legit shit. I'll talk to him at some point and have him come on the show. He's still in, but he was getting in literally grenade battles where they were tossing grenades over the walls back and forth with the Taliban, like where he was attached to the British. I'm like, fuck. Like like other people were talking about it. And we were sitting there having a conversation. I was like, that's insane, dude.
You would never know it. He's
Can you
such
imagine
a cool
just
dude.
chucking fucking grenades over the wall at another dude?
No, I
Like
can't.
you
He's
can
such a
hear
cool
him.
dude.
Like,
You can't even imagine. Like he's such a cool dude. Like you
no,
couldn't
so
picture it.
I purposely I came back from JRTC or whatever it is in
Ninth grade.
at Fort Sill.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Is it JRTC?
Yes.
I did JROTC. So
JROTC,
yeah.
did
I
you?
served. Yeah. Hell
No
yeah.
fucking way.
I swear, I served 4 years.
Oh, JROT.
Don't
Yeah.
use the
What you're
word
thinking
serve.
I got out as a captain.
You're such a.
I was
Got out
pissed.
as when it was
I got out as I transitioned to a PFC. I was like, the fuck, bro. I guess I'm going enlisted.
I guess I'm not getting any respect anymore.
Sergeant,
yeah,
come on.
dude, I got out as a captain.
Well, I
It's
came
cool.
back. I came back from JRTC at Fort. What's that one in? The one in Louisiana.
Don't know.
Fort Polk.
Where-
We were
Fort
out there
what?
working with
Fort
the
Nelson?
501st.
What's it called?
Fort Polk.
How the fuck am I supposed to know what Fort Polk is?
I mean, anyway, we're out there.
Fort Nelson.
I come back, check.
No.
I come back, check out an Anglico, and then the next day I check into the Mew, and I'm like, I'm waiting until 7:00 at night. You know, that way like nobody's there. Check in with the OOD. Show up, they're in a fucking staff meeting. I'm in camis. Major Graham comes out, and I'm like, he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "What's going on, sir? You guys are still in a meeting?" He's like, "Welcome to the fucking Mew, bro."
No.
And I'm like, "No fucking way." And he's like, "We're getting on ship tomorrow." And I'm like, "Who's we?" And he's like, "You're coming, man." Fucking next day, took my sea bag, got on ship for 2 weeks.
Jesus.
I came from
Christ.
Louisiana, eating shit at JRTC in fucking Louisiana.
Thank God we didn't go
basically
there.
2 days off, and then turn around and get on ship, and I'm like out for 2.
Yeah, we stayed in the 41 area.
Yeah, it sucked.
When I went to check into Anglico, like the next day or whatever, I was like, I'll go to be with my alphas. And they're like, the sergeant major's not going to want to see you. Like, we have whatever.
There's other shit
And
going
I
on.
was like, yeah, there's other shit going on. I was like, I'm still going to do it because I was a corporal. And I go in with my fucking alphas to go see Sergeant Major Offit. And he was like, "What are you doing here? Isn't Chuck doing a range this week?" I'm like, I don't know, Sergeant Major.
You're
I
like,
think so.
why are you wearing? Why are
And
you
he's
wearing
like,
Chuck Taylors?
get the fuck out of here. You know, like basically, like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing in here? They're training.
work,
the
bro.
Fuck. Yeah,
Get
I was
to
like,
work.
you know, like
So we did
Did
a
you-
podcast with him, and he's still the same way. I love him, dude.
Super
He's-
cool.
hearing
He's
it was
listening to this
awesome.
for sure.
I
We're
can't-
gonna do another one when I come back from. So I'm going home for 3 weeks. So people will hear this. What's today? Today is the 15th. People are going to hear this around Christmas. I'll probably release it on Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And then when I come back after the Merry Christmas.
Merry
and when
Christmas,
I come back
you
after the
filthy
first of the year,
Marines.
we'll sit down and do
hey,
another
you
one.
see what I
with
did there?
Offit.
Instead of filthy animals, I said filthy
Bunch of filthy
Marines.
animals.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, no, he's a
Filthy
good people.
Marines?
He's good people. I told
Okay.
when I come back, I'm gonna have a little like formal, like not formal, but like a actual like housewarming. Have people down,
Cut the cake and stuff.
check out the place.
But anyway, so like being on podcast with him, super cool, dude.
I bet.
It's cool telling him all these.
We got
stories,
hammered.
All these stories, and yeah, we got.
He
licked.
brought his own little like cooler or tool
You're telling
bag.
a bunch
Like,
of
we're
stories like,
drinking.
you would have NJP'd me if you would have known about this.
Like, we had people break into our CP. You would have fucking killed me.
It was a good podcast.
It was really good. He was getting liquored. It was fun.
Yeah, he had to Uber home. He was gonna drive home, and then
I
he was
drove
like,
him home.
"Oh, is that what it was?"
Yeah, I drove him home.
You probably shouldn't have drove. Scumbag. So that's episode 11 is Sergeant Major Tracy Offutt by himself telling his stories, which are pretty wild. Did you guys listen to his by himself?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
nutty.
Yeah, he did. He did some stuff during his time in,
Some
and then
stuff?
super cool, super great,
just
super
did some
humble.
stuff. Multiple.
Everyone on
deployments.
your podcast has been fucking phenomenal.
I appreciate
and
it.
I was getting on. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna ruin the entire reputation of Marines.
No way, man.
I think I felt.
I'd like to have something like this that's a little bit lighter, just because there's some like heavy stories, man. Like
Yeah.
there's some pretty heavy. I mean, we start out with my corpsman buddy Camino, who gets blown up, a month into his first deployment. Like that's crazy, and then goes back to singing 2 more times. Like that's just fucking, and you just. I don't know. So
it's in Thailand. We bought out a brothel.
but that's the other side of the story, though. So being like when I was a kid, like reading like Marine Corps books, like reading like if you read like I don't know, man,
I don't read.
With the Old Breed or something like that. They talk about being deployed. I don't know. You know what? They don't talk about any ports in that. I don't know, man. I grew up reading and watching old military shit because my dad was in the Army. My grandfather was one was in the Army and one was in the Air Force. So all you hear about is like deploying and then like port calls kind of deal. And it just sounds wild. I remember PFC Kramer. I was on the EFSS team, which was that 120 millimeter mortar and the little Jeep that are now no longer part of the Marine Corps. I remember being out there and there was this guy, Sergeant Garza, and I was a mechanic and he was like an FDC or comm Marine with 10th Marines. It was Fox. I think it was Fox 210 or something like that. And it was like my first time going to the field. I got pulled from maintenance battalion to go work on this project. And he's like, we're sitting there doing something and we were done and we were just kind of chilling. And he's like, you know what, man? And he's like, I fucked whores all over the world. And I'm like, that's so cool. Like, his PFC Kramer's like, that's crazy.
As
like,
a civilian, that's nutty. Like,
he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, you know what happened in Thailand? I'm like, do you have a threesome? He's like, fuck that. 5 chicks, $20. And I'm like, no way. Like,
even hearing that now from you, I'm like, it makes me uncomfortable.
dude,
I'm serious. I'm like,
on
I
Monday.
would
crazy,
honestly, I would never do something like that.
That's-
Like the whole prostitution thing was never my thing.
But you
What a
hear
dummy.
crazy
I've
in
done it.
the
It's
Marines.
great.
You'll hear
I never-
crazy shit.
But you were stationed in Asia. Maybe if I was stationed in Oki, maybe my mind would be different because life in Asia is completely different. We can all attest
But
to
that's the thing,
Singapore,
though.
Hong Kong.
America
It's a
is
different
so
world.
Sex to America is so taboo. It's so taboo. You go anywhere else,
Even in
especially
Japan,
Asian countries, it's
even
it's
Japan,
very
it's
open.
it isn't Japan. It's taboo, but it's like almost closet weird.
well,
It's everywhere in Japan. So like they don't show like in porn they
blur out.
right, but
No
the
penetration.
culture and everything is just straight sex. There's prostitution's legal. Like
Is it
That-
legal or
either
accepted?
they act like it's legal.
I think it's
everywhere.
accepted.
I mean, it's everywhere. It's probably just accepted. But I mean, I haven't had sex with a lot of hookers, but I've had sex with hookers before.
in Okinawa.
Oh fuck, man! Like
Whisper Alley.
Philippines.
Have you guys all heard Whisper Alley before?
never heard, and I don't know what is
Either
that.
way, what I'm saying is that like when you
I thought
go-
that was
when
a
you go to
common
other
phrase.
countries-
No, I don't know. What
Just
that
on Friday, my friend was talking about Thailand. I'm like, yeah, you can do whatever you want in Thailand. Like, I brought up hookers and stuff, and you can tell he kind of gave me that like, oh shit, you had sex with hookers. And I'm like, in the Marine Corps, that is so natural and such a normal thing.
There was
to
a
talk
kid.
about.
There was a kid. I can't remember if it was on my first or second MU. There was a kid that got caught with a prostitute in. No, he didn't get caught with her.
and stuff her in the bathroom?
No, he was in Singapore. I think it was in Singapore, and he went in and was like, "Hey, I want to get a hand job or something stupid." It was. I'm almost 100% actually positive it was a hand job, but he didn't negotiate the price. He came in and was like, "Hand job." I'm like, "Let's do it." Took him upstairs, did the magic, boom. And then they're like $300 or whatever, something stupid, ridiculous. And he's like, "No, I'm not going to pay that." And they're like, "No, you have to pay because that's what it cost." And he's like, "Fuck that." And then they were like, we're going to call the cops if you try to leave. And he jumped out. He busted through the second deck window, their second floor window, and jumped out the second floor window down to the fucking ground. And then they ended up catching him, arresting him, and fucking all this shit.
I mean, we had hookers come to the boat when I was in Oak
So
Ridge,
negotiate the price, gentlemen, before.
Yeah, they came to the
but
boat.
honestly,
two of
dude,
them,
that's kind of gross.
and they by named him because the dude,
To
the
the
dumbass
boat?
Marine told the hookers his first and last name. And then they wanted some crazy price. He ran. He told them what boat he was on. So they literally, the two hookers walked to the boat. It was like first name, last name. This is what happened. He owes me this money. And they made him come. He got NGP for it.
No way.
Well, I think they NGP'd him because they were like, "You're so stupid." You told them even like what boat you're on. And
It's almost like you didn't get any OPSEC classes before you got off ship.
He was just a big purple dragon just floating there.
This reminds me of Nutter's first girlfriend,
The Asian girl.
the Asian girl. Do you
Weren't they pretty serious?
seriously investigated?
I think people were.
Wait, what?
She was getting investigated by NCIS for like gaining intelligence from the 41 area.
Oh,
she was
no
a
way.
fucking
out of
She
here.
was a fucking Chinese spy.
No
You're a
way.
liar.
No, yeah, Bayer, you know about this. Drizzy, you know about this, right?
Do
I never heard this. No, I never
Yeah.
heard this.
Wait, yeah, was that
They
was
got
Sancho, right? He pulled him in the office.
They got investigated because like
I fucking forgot all about
everyone was
that.
like,
Hold
Nutter's
on.
got a
This
girlfriend.
is new
This
information.
is huge. I totally
like,
forgot about
All
that.
right,
Nutter's
tell
got
the
a girl-
story. Tell the story.
I don't know. It was like Nutter's got a girlfriend.
So,
She's not fat,
I
and
think
she
I
was
know
like,
a gist
I know
of
people
it.
were like, I can't believe he's got a girlfriend that looks like that.
She
I
was-
remember that talk.
she was a spy.
And they were fucking though.
I don't know about that.
Either way,
I don't know,
she was
Leonard-
going
I don't
to
know, but-
she was going to his room because I think we were making fun of him. They didn't fuck her. And then
because
he told us
Leonard
he
was
did
sitting
fuck
in
her.
there the whole time.
And yeah, she ended up being. But I don't think I ever learned that she was an actual Chinese spy.
Yeah, she was a Chinese spy. She was like messing. She was going in the barracks room of like the recon guys and like everyone in the 41 area. That was the area that she was trying to infiltrate.
No way.
Yeah,
well, that's the
because
area you'd want to.
That's
on
the area
Templeton.
that has all the cool shit going on.
And then we were jumping.
Dude, and all of people Nutter
Yeah.
of everyone.
Well, no, you got to get an easy target to get you on base.
You
yeah, but
can't.
he's easier. I mean,
You can't hack Nutter. I've tried to ask him why he's late. He won't even answer that. So like, he's not gonna give up. He's not gonna give up secrets. You know, yeah.
He's
What
not
time
gonna
he go to
give up
work?
because he doesn't
I
want
don't
to.
know.
He's not
No,
giving him up
you
because
gotta
he
think
really
that's
doesn't
just her-
know.
That's just her entrance on the base. Now she can take photos. She can
Yeah,
do
but
other
I'm
shit.
sure she's like, how
Yeah,
many people are
but-
here? And he's like, he literally
200.
doesn't know.
He does. He's
So,
retarded.
hey,
Penetrable.
believe it or not, my first deployment,
You
we
can't
had
penetrate that. Like, you can't.
believe it or not, we had a kid just like him on my
Nutter
first
saved
deployment.
America.
This dude was a corporal. He was a reservist.
Purple Heart. We're like, fuck.
This dude was a corporal. He was a reservist, and he would. When I was a mechanic in TQ in Iraq, we had these massive fucking tents that were these big ass work bays, basically. And all you would see this dude who's a corporal in his fucking like coveralls, like a mechanic, carrying a trash can down the fucking like carrying it on his back. He was all day long. He was just emptying trash, and we're like, bro, what is up with you? And he would not answer any like direct questions. Like if you just talk to
that's
him,
Nutter. I mean, that's Nutter.
yeah, he would just like, "Why you asking me questions, man? What are you talking?" So the command was like, "Dude, let's get rid of this fucking dude." Like a request came up for some bullshit working party in Al Assad, so they sent him, and his job there was like to count wood, basically, like get all this wood, count it, blah blah blah
What
blah.
a shitty Marine Corps
No.
job. That's one of those jobs in Marine Corps.
No,
Just
listen,
on
no.
the- 1 second, just pause. There was a meme the other day that was like, imagine trying so hard to get in the Marine Corps, you get in and you're an IPAC.
Yeah,
That's the
I
same
saw
shit.
that.
Like, imagine you get in the Marine Corps and your job is to count wood.
No,
Like, that's
listen to
fucking
this though.
sucks.
This dude fucking comes back. We have some kind of like safety stand down class where the whole battalion's there or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, he's getting awarded a NAM," and we're like, "This dude is imagine Nutter getting awarded
kill
a
him.
NAM."
I'd stab
now
him.
listen. We watch this ceremony.
him.
We watch this, the whole battalion's there. We watch this dude get a NAM, and we're like, "No fucking way, dude." Right before we go home from the deployment, we get a call from Al Assad, and they're like, that motherfucker fucked up every count. Everything he said, like he wrote down like this much, they have to go back and redo it because every
way.
one of them were fucked up. I was like, yes, that is great.
Remember Nutter?
Oh my God.
He dummy quartered his canteen to him, and then he lost.
He
it on
lost.
the
Yeah.
dummy cord.
Like how did? And the knot is still like on his
The
thing.
knot was still there. And we're like, how the fuck is that possible?
He was. Do you remember? So me and we put him on this Nutter was messing up so bad, I didn't know what to do. I tried hazing him. I tried paperwork, all that stuff. And so I had to put him on that red and green card cycle. So, like, in his cargo or in his left shoulder pocket, I would give him a red, yellow, and green card. So it's like if he had a good day, we'd keep him on green. And the corporals had the power to knock him down, but you had to have a good reason. You know, like if he was late, okay, you're starting off on yellow. And at the end of the day, we'd get feedback. The sergeants would get feedback on what color he was on and stuff. You remember this, Drizzy?
Oh, I remember it.
Yeah, you want to talk about it more?
So, like, the red card, green card.
It's hard to get on red.
Yeah, I just remember, like...
It's impossible to get on red. It's fucking real hard.
Being in the Marine Corps and, like, you think you signed up to do, like, all this heroic shit. But, like, in your breast pocket.
You're in kindergarten.
Well, all of us were but him.
Like,
And I remember at the end of the day, I was like we'd be on yellow. I'm like, hey, tomorrow let's try and end on green. You know, like
Let's have a good day.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time you guys were going to rip Nutter apart, and I'm like, let me go talk to him real quick. You know, everybody kind of had their own one-on-one with him where they thought they would change him.
yeah.
So I'm like, it's my turn to have my one-on-one. I'm going to go talk to him. And it was, I mean, man, it was probably 45 minutes of me being like, my heart and soul was pouring into this kid. Because I'm like, honestly, I think I have the power to change you. You know, like.
Even some of the captains were doing those with him.
We're talking like 45 minutes, and we're like, I'm having a hard time. I feel like we're doing great. And at the end, I'm like, you probably just want me to just shut up and just go away because you don't care anyway, right? And that is a total rhetoric question. That is like
rhetorical. Don't answer that.
He goes, yes, Sergeant. And I was like, this motherfucker. And like it hurt. And that's when I started, the real hate started to come because I'm like, that fucking hurt. And then he fucked up real bad that day on something that was traditional of him. And I'm like, this bitch just wasted 45 minutes of my time, you know. And it was a vicious cycle. Everybody would jump. Somebody would try. And you would just get let down so fucking hard.
It was rough, man. It was rough with him.
So
let's change it away from him a little bit. We've been
I was going to
spending
say
a lot of time.
I had one good story that we can all probably get in on.
Let's hold it for a minute. Tell me what was the best part of the Mew for you.
What was good about the Mew?
Like one moment, maybe like one pour, maybe one moment, one pour. Like what was the cool? Like you're like, this is cool.
Looking back on, we were all like pretty drunk, like pretty bad, and we went to
Ski was on Liberty Restriction.
we went
Still
to
hammered.
we were in Hong Kong, and it was like we were cutting it close on getting back to the ship or whatever. And we stop at a McDonald's, and we're like just some fat ass fucking Americans that are drunk. We're like, we want one of everything. And this order is like, so you have like, you saved up money on deployment, whatever. They're like, this order is like $400 fucking dollars. I don't care. I'm an American. This is our fucking store.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wrong.
My stomping
wrong
brain.
mentality,
Yeah.
right? So like we pay. And the Japanese, or what's Hong Kong? What are they? Chinese? Whatever, same shit. Yeah, okay, sorry, just whatever.
He's a minority. He can
We're
say
at,
those
yeah,
things.
like, so they're like out there, like fucking trying to make all the fries, all the nuggets, all the everything. Like we literally ordered one of everything. Like me and JT, and I forget who was with us. And we're cutting it too close in time. We're like, fuck it, just keep the money. Give us what you've made so far. They give us like 4 bags of like random shit, like nuggets and stuff and Big Macs. And we're like, we just take it. We're eating it on that little ferry. You know, that little ferry?
Dude, that
We're, like,
ferry
stomping.
is rough.
Yeah. And then we're getting back on the ship, and you're supposed to say like, what, permission to come aboard, show your ID. I was annihilated. I remember, I didn't even pull my ID out. I told the lady like, please just let me on this fucking ship. She's like, come on. I'm like, yes, like I'm dying. And that's probably it. I don't know.
We came back on ship one time. We're running McDonald's, same thing. We're super late. We're in Philippines. We're running back. And I'm feeding my buddy a double, like just McDonald's burgers. I'm literally throwing them at him. And it's hitting his face as he's running. He's trying to eat it. And we get on ship, and you're not supposed to have any food from outside on the ship. So he has quarter pounders in his pants, like stuffed in there. And he's too hammered to realize like you can't be eating them. We're hiding them. And like he's standing there, he's like, permission to go aboard, and he's got a slice of cheese like stuck to his fucking eyebrow, like a square slice of cheese. And he's trying to start eat like he's got his. You can see him kind of like doing this whole thing, and he's like looking at his quarter pounder. I'm like, dude, we're fucked, man.
Do you remember like when Skeeter would get riled up, he'd get like like riled
Vicious?
up, like scary.
like a scary
yeah,
pit bull.
He's
Where, like,
aggressive.
he's
so
fucking
big
super
where
aggressive. He punched me in the face,
Yeah.
and it hurt pretty bad.
How many people punch you in the face?
Dude, I don't know. It's just like I don't know. But do you remember he was like I'm gonna eat my fish sandwich from McDonald's, and he ate it, and then he started flipping out like, who
ate my
fucking
Who ate my
He came to
fucking
rack and
fish
was like, did you eat my
sandwich?
fucking fish sandwich? I'm like, no, like I haven't. I stayed
For
back.
people who don't know, Ski's he's a big ass Russian, and he gets
bodybuilder.
blackout drunk. He's a bodybuilder.
He's
and
jacked as fuck.
You can't stop. Like it's equivalent to like a nuclear reactor going off. Once he gets too far, you just can't stop it.
He's like,
You
"What's
gotta
up,
let it
man?"
play out.
Like he does a
man.
hard shoulder grab.
One time
when
he
he's
was
drunk.
so drunk he had a handle, an empty handle at the barracks, and he was like, "This is," and he was like repeating this gnarly sentence and just hitting himself in the head with the handle. And at that moment, I'm like, "This dude doesn't fuck around."
We need to get him on the show.
He's a great dude. He hit me pretty hard, but great guy.
I love him.
I would
Yeah.
say going back to the question of on the Mew, what made it worth it was a lot. Obviously, like the port calls were cool, but like when we went to Malaysia and did that jungle training, did you guys get off?
Yeah.
I was watching.
So it was like the worst thing in the world. Like it was like knee high. It was like shin high water in the jungle.
Literally slept on the jungle floor.
You guys did all that. I stayed in the hotel and stuff and did all the prepping.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it
So
was
I had
like-
a
it
different
was
perspective
shin-high
of Malaysia.
water, but then we got to eat
Monkey
a
brains.
freshly like murdered monkey.
How weird is that to eat a primate?
So now, oh god! So last week somebody was talking about it. Last week someone was like, "It's too close to humans. I can't eat it."
Were you watching Meat Eater?
And that's the first time I've ever thought about that, and now I 100% regret eating it because it had such a
Was it good?
profound taste.
It was like
no,
smoked like flavorless beef jerky.
it tasted like beef jerky. You were there, right? You were there.
Damn,
But
Drizzy.
if you're doing like survival training, like just don't eat a fucking MRE for like 2 days, and you'll fucking eat that shit.
Damn, Drizzy.
Well, I mean, we ate it, but
You're like,
I
it's
mean,
too
I got
close to human.
Would
Drizzy's
you
like,
rather have
Slim
the? Would
Jim.
you rather?
I got
No, it was,
dysentery.
like, weirdly just like a fucking dried meat. Like,
You should try
would
human.
you? Hey, Frogger.
come off the monkey, you wouldn't know.
Would you rather do the monkey or iguana again?
What was the iguana called? The Gila. What's a lizard? The big lizard.
Oh, that's what you
Gila
ate?
lizard.
Komodo
or-
dragon?
Komodo. Wasn't it a Komodo
No,
dragon?
No,
fucking
it
way.
wasn't.
There's
They don't
no
have
way
those
you
in
ate a Komodo
Malaysia.
dragon.
No, it was like an iguana.
No, it was like it was a
Gila
What's
lizard?
the
There's
a
same
big
thing as
difference.
it starts with Gila.
Is it the ones that swim in the water?
I don't fucking either way. Dude.
I don't have my phone on me.
It was a
Galapagos
lizard, but it was still like kind of
Islands?
scaly, and then it was fox.
Dude, it was so fucking dry.
But the monkey was like, I remember
Was
the
it-
monkey still had like fur on it. Someone had the paw and was like chasing me with it. But it's
Dude, they caught him with like some Vietnam looking
Bamboo traps.
Like,
booby
so
traps.
Straight like
You
walk
boo-
through
boo-
this
boo-
bush
How
and
did I
you
not
just
know this?
punchy
nailed
sticks?
shit
The
out.
punchy sticks?
You guys were eating monkeys, and me and JT were just watching Breaking Bad on the ship.
literally
Dude,
that
shit's-
monkey.
Yeah.
I got dysentery.
I was
for
on
like
ship
5
too,
fucking
and it
seconds.
rained the whole time
Yeah,
there
we
too.
got there, it was like a swamp.
I have
raining
pictures of
nonstop.
my arms.
You should have seen the pictures of when I went to the beach to do the survey. Super nice.
I
This is
unrolled
about-
my
Primo
blouse.
day.
I pulled
This
my
is a-
pants down to my ankles, and I slept like that because it was so hot.
Dude, I got to the point where I didn't even like put on my Gore-Tex.
That's when
I
it-
was like, what the fuck?
They had a LAV get stuck in the mud and had to pull it out with a
53
53.
could barely. Pull
Oh
it out.
yeah. We were on the ship watching Breaking Bad.
dude, fuck off.
No, like when you guys came back, I was like, "Fuck, we lost all of our room and stuff."
Do you remember when I went to the field and they're like, "You're just gonna be gone for a day," and it was like 12 days later and we were still out there. We had nothing to change in from. We had zero.
You're out here eating monkeys and iguanas.
Yes,
Dude, you guys were weirdly close to the barracks too.
we were
That was
right
just-
fucking.
Like, you could see
No,
it all,
we
but-
got
where?
we finally talked Captain McDonald into letting us walk back to the just to shower at the
Barracks?
at the barracks.
Yeah, I remember
no,
it
we
was
showered
late,
at the office.
Gym or something.
You were
Yeah.
lame.
It was
Where?
me, Lane, and Chillum. We got flown off a ship for that 2-week period, right? But for almost the whole 2 weeks, we had flown off. We were only supposed to be there for a day
To go where?
to go onto Red Beach. Where the fuck that beach was right there.
Oh.
Right there.
Oh, on Pendleton?
yeah.
I thought we were still talking about Malaysia.
No,
Dude, when
so
we're in
there-
there-
I'm like,
dude,
what showers?
So, Captain McDonald didn't like to break rules. He was like, okay, we'll go real quick. And it was Lacey brought us food. I haven't seen her, and, it was fucking sick. But then he's like, we got to go back. I'm like, homie, come on. Like, let's just stay the fuck here. You know where you're like begging? You're like, just please.
Yeah.
It started to rain one day. He's like, this is a perfect time for us to hike that mountain. We could build a hide up there. And I was like, sir, it was like day 9 of
That
us being
dude
there.
is-
It was that day. It was that stint.
He was a monster.
I go, sir, it's day 9. It's not for morale wise, Oh, fuck no.
He's-
fuck no. That's a terrible
That guy
idea.
is more jacked than anybody I know.
And I would say per
Strength
muscle
wise. I'm talking about strength wise. Functional fitness, maybe not as much. But strength wise, dude, I remember going to the gym with him down in Coronado. We were at some course. And he's like, all right, I'm going to bust out a warm-up. And it's like, he just does a shit ton of... He just does a shit ton of pull-ups and jumps over. Yeah, his warm-up's like 300 on squat. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and he's not even just 300, but 300 and his ass is almost touching his fucking goddamn, like, heel. It's crazy.
He's the strongest dude I've ever seen. And then he's also said the phrase beaten zone more than anybody I've ever seen.
Oh.
My God.
Do you remember he gave that class? Or were you there when he gave the class with the Harrier and he kept saying beaten zone like every 3 minutes?
I do not.
He was a good guy, though. He was
he is a good guy.
Not a good guy to party with, but a good guy to work with.
Good guy to work with, yeah.
One of those guys.
He's still in, so I'm not going to talk about our story him and I have about going out and partying. It was a good time.
We went to Gila Bend?
Nothing crazy, but it was a good time.
When we went to Gila Bend, it was like when we were picking up all those... When we got stopped by the police on the way back.
Yeah.
We went to go make the beer run. It was with one of the Delta captains. I don't know if he's still out.
That was the ripping the van you were talking
people
about?
People were going like 80 with the van door open and
I was in there with him, and he was like, I had never seen him.
I wasn't there for that. I was back at the hotel.
I was in the passenger seat. I didn't know what he was like to go out with,
To party with.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was like Chuck or if he was like Delta. So then he's like, hey Rango, this van says 120, and he's drunk as fuck. We're doing like a beer run. He's like, this van says 120. What do you think? I'm like, only one way to find out, sir. And he's like, fucking ripping down this road, like just in this little gov fucking van.
It had the sliding side door, right? And the side door was open.
It was pretty cool. But it was one of those things.
The CO was there.
The CO was awesome. You should get him on.
No, he's good people. He's in Okie.
Which one?
Lieutenant Colonel Sims.
Sims.
Sims, good dude. He's
Sims
in Okie
good
now.
dude.
We were in the chow hall one time, and we had gone. It was like our third range that week. And I'm like out loud at the chow hall. I'm like, dude, I'm sick of fucking shooting. Like, this is going to be our third range this week. And I look over and he's right there and he goes, yeah, you sick of shooting? And I was like, God damn it. Like, fuck. You know,
he's
when it's
good
like
people, man. He's
remember
good
that one
dude.
day we had the range? We had 20,000 rounds between 4 of us or whatever stupid it was. It was after that.
It was fun.
And I'm like, dude, I'm literally just shooting to shoot at this point. Like, I'm not even doing anything.
Bear, JT's asking how the podcast went.
Tell JT to frig off.
Tell him we're 3 hours and 37 minutes in.
Tell him I always just remember.
Tell him enjoy
Hey,
your
JT.
seat in the group chat because not everyone's in.
JT, give me a toner. I need a toner.
Damn.
JT, you got a caffer, bud. Come on, I got duty.
Dude, he was the caffeine king. JT
No
used
way.
to pump 2 monsters and go to
understand it.
sleep.
Bro,
No,
did you
you
not
don't
see the
understand
5-pound bag of beans I had shipped to me with my hand grinder?
don't
I was over there
understand
making
it.
French
Beans?
press.
JT would drink a monster with a
J-
kaffir pill. A
Yeah,
200
he would take a
kaffir
200
pill.
mg, take a
MG.
monster, and go to sleep.
He'd be like, Bear, I need a toning.
I'm
I
like,
need a toning.
What's the strongest pre-workout you've ever used?
Almost 400 milligrams.
Do I look like a
Mr.
workout
Hyde.
person?
I almost
Brand?
passed out.
Brand?
I had cold sweats with, yeah.
That shit is wild.
What's it called?
Dr. Hack, or
What's the thing that turned illegal?
Mr. Hyde. It's Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde's almost 400 milligrams, which is like
What's
a pretty good amount. And JT would. I took that with Poindexter once, and I had cold sweat so bad at the gym I had to go home.
If you ever
I had
want to
for
learn
3
about
hours to try to not die.
If you ever want to learn about supplements, all you got to do is sit down with a couple fucking military dudes for an hour, and you'll
That's
know,
true.
dude. Because you get paid to work out.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, hang on, it's not like that.
Look at me,
my
man.
recruiter told me
I did 8 years. Look
We've
at
all
me.
been in.
Yeah, come on.
You got paid to work out.
I mean,
PT.
you also got paid to get your shit.
I got
pushed
fucking
in.
paid to someone look at my room to see if there's dust in it.
Yeah, like get the fuck
I'm
out
not
of here.
recruiting. I'm just saying you got paid to work out.
Yeah, but that's one of the million things you get paid to do.
I don't disagree.
I got paid to shit in the
So
woods.
tell me
That's
the
like
lie.
me being like, you got paid to ride in helicopters. It sounds super cool.
I also
doesn't
got
it?
paid to almost crash in helicopters.
I got paid to work with a fully autistic dude.
Yeah, like that's not that cool.
Maybe a dab.
He was so we used to make this joke that because Nutter's brother finished college and everything. So
Oh, really?
They
I
swear-
thought he was
Yeah.
full blown
100%.
autistic.
No, he is.
he
That's the thing.
is, and he
But he's,
finished
smart
college. So
Is he like Rain Man?
That's
I
what
don't know.
used to
So
call
I
him.
used to say I wonder if the doctor was like, "Oh shit, I told the mom the wrong person."
Yes.
they'll figure it out, but they never did.
You're 4 years.
Katrina
Yeah.
took all the records. Katrina took all the records.
Look, He's been wearing the helmet this long. Keep it on.
Rango, look at that. That's my helmet right there.
Anyway.
That's what I thought, dude. I recognized it. I was like,
when are
that
you
looks
gonna
like
take
bears.
it?
Yeah.
When are you going to take it?
I thought you were needing to use it.
No, I said take it whenever. I don't want to feel like you're
not. No. So I told him he wanted to use it.
I want to shoot some photos with the patches.
A couple months
I sell
went by, and I go,
stickers.
"Hey, do you still have my helmet?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, I just don't
A
want
couple
it to be,
months, a week and a half.
I said I don't want it to be that thing where like, oh shit, I don't know where I put it a year and a half later, and I never get it back.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, fine, just take it.
Where's
I'm
my?
like, that's not. I just want to make sure that it's not going to get lost in the because
it's
that's
right
a good.
there.
I want that forever. That's a good.
I have my high cut still.
Yeah, you have yours too.
Yeah.
I have the older version.
I can't believe you guys bought your own helmets. You're the people that people on Instagram make fun of for ANGLICO.
That's the thing. At the
No,
time,
it was perfect because the Peltors and shit like that makes your ears sweat and presses in and all that.
That's
BS.
not true. I use the.
That is so
It is.
true.
It's
You
my
can't-
opinion.
Yeah, what do you mean?
It's my
You can't-
opinion.
Let me know when you're done.
You can't.
It's
fit
my
Peltors
opinion.
underneath that.
Dude, on my Afghan deployment, I wore the SIF issued helmet with my Peltors.
So you didn't wear it with that then, huh? Because it sounds like you didn't wear it with that.
So
that has more room.
So with my
Have you
All
experience,
you do
have
is
you
so
worn
all you
Peltors?
do is take out the side
Hey,
pads.
with
so
my
you're gonna take stuff out
experience
of it.
and
Yeah.
my
how about
ears,
how about not taking anything out of it and it fitting way better?
Get out
my
of here.
experience and my
I'll
ears.
say $300.
Those are the haters right there. When I was out of Chuck, that's why I'm like, I'm a hater. I was out of Chuck. Once you got into Chuck, you don't understand.
Man, it's
When you got
'cause
that
you're-
option, why not?
You're gonna be
People
in
are-
Chuck without a high
cheap,
cut?
yeah.
Come on, you're asking to get picked on.
I don't think the U.S. government would send me overseas with subpar equipment.
You're
so
an absolute fucking liar. I mean,
I remember when I first came in. That's
Runs
when
are
the
getting
dragon
those
skin,
helmets now.
dragon skin
Really?
was still a big thing. You ever heard of dragon skin?
They're like moldable, like the
where instead of having a plate, it has like 100 little
yeah.
discs.
I wish with all my heart.
And then it became such a big deal in like 2007, 2008 timeframe that they even like they X-rayed the plates after like putting them through certain conditions, and the dragon skin like plates were slipping and shit like that, and that's why they were like, hey, it leaves holes in your armor. But anyway, I'm trying to think of stuff I bought outside of Marine Corps issued stuff would be a Garmin GPS, the wrist GPS, because at 10th Marines they don't issue. At ANGLICO you get one issued to you.
If
10th
you're
Marines,
a JF or JTAG.
at 10th Marines I didn't get one issued to me, so I bought that. I bought a pack one time, which wasn't like the boot pack with the little dog tag bullshit. I was a sergeant. Kind of, but it wasn't that kind. I didn't wear it out in town. I literally used it for the field. What else did I buy? What did you guys buy? Any?
I literally
all my pouches.
I bought a Garmin, like
Pouches.
a watch that did military grade.
That's what he had.
That was like the only fucking cool.
I remember the taco pouches were perfect.
And
ANGLICO had a super good fucking
bought a-
supply,
I bought a
dude. There was
soft
so
one.
much shit.
I bought a sling as well.
You bought a
stock.
It was trash as fuck.
The
I
big
bought a
ass
butt stock,
one.
too.
I bought one that was like
Oh, yeah.
adjustable, and it was so much better, and it was like the best form.
And honestly, so this a lot of people were hating. Oh, gear queer. This it's like
it made
it was all just jealousy.
Yeah.
Who did not want to look cooler? Did anybody not want to look cool? Like that was
Well,
the point.
It's
See,
also
that's
like,
your problem. It's more practical.
It doesn't sound like a problem.
It's investing in your
Doesn't sound like a
job.
problem. Yeah, it's
No, for sure.
That's how I felt
Like
about the Garmin,
like I gave
that
Demaro
Garmin was
like we all
badass.
gave Demaro shit about being a gear queer, but Demaro was basically like testing gear for the entire unit because he'd be like, this fucking pouch is shitty because of this, and you're like, you're right, or he'd be like, dudes would go to him, like if you were like, hey man, I'm looking at getting a whatever, what do you think about it? Demaro would know because he tried it, like 100%. I got pouches and stuff from him. I'd buy off of him for cheap because he's like, yeah, I tried it, I didn't like it, here, give it a go. Like I used to have the quarterback forearm thing.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
like
used
it.
that.
I didn't like it.
I made my own little sleeve inside of it until I learned it.
I had a big one too that would flip open
That's
and
what
you
mine
could
was.
like fold
I
it
had
and it would have like a
shit,
map
really?
square inside of it. And honestly, like after using it 2 or 3 times in Afghanistan, I was like, "Fuck this thing!" And I just kept a,
Fanny pack?
no, I kept a
Fanny
right in
packs
the
are the
rain,
shit.
the little right in the rain flip
green
one,
one?
the
Yeah.
small one, the real small one with the spiral on top.
Mm-hmm.
I kept that. The first page was like Kazovac 9 line. The second page was like the 9 line, the actual, or it was the check-in, and then so I broke it down like that, and then after that was all for notes.
Again,
that way I could flip to it as a reference.
But
because
everybody hated on it if it wasn't gear queers. I'm like, dude. But you had so many training
to a point,
opportunities
to
to
a
try to
point,
figure out
to a
what it
point.
was.
Well, there was one team that went to Afghanistan with helmets that they bought themselves, and they got there, and they told them they couldn't even use them. Was it your team?
No, what?
There was a team that went to Afghanistan with helmets, and they're like, you can't even wear those. They're not even ballistic.
Who?
Yeah, we bought.
I don't know if this is. I don't know
Maybe
if this
I'm
is
wrong.
accurate.
We're just calling Kramer out.
Yeah, word of talk right here.
You fucking
What year did you
loser.
get to ANGLICO?
It was
That
during
was a
your
big
time,
deal.
bro.
That was a big deal. Like, think about right now in ANGLICO, they're like, oh,
No,
you got
it
here in
was your
2018?
team. It was your team.
No, I wore my shit the whole time.
I don't know, man.
It was. I think they were upset about the aim points because we didn't wear our.
Yeah.
We didn't take our RCOs. Well, we took our RCOs to Afghan, but they stayed in like a Pelican. We did the aim points and the 3-point magnifier.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's not as accurate as an RCO, right? I'm like, well, Gunner, it's kind of cool.
And that's the thing. It's like it kind of.
And we're not going to be out here shoot. I mean, like, of course, like the Anglicans are going to be getting in shootouts, but like the priority's air. So
Oh, 100%. Like, if you're a JTAC and you're trying to clear rooms, you're in the wrong
fucking up.
job
That's
field.
Riley right there to the T. I'll name
Like,
call him
there's
all day.
that's
That
two
me and
different
Billups
things.
both. We looked at him because the grunts in 29 Palms when we were there were like, we want a room on close quarter. What is it?
CQB
or CQB. Riley's like, oh, we got it. And that was right after we did that course. The
Billups was fucking
Regular
legit.
course.
That was literally the first fucking training I did with ANGLICO was room clear.
So I'm like Billups. I'm like, hey Riley, Billups, like me and him been talking. This is not our realm. These are grunts. They know more about it than we do. We know nothing about this. Riley's like, no, we're gonna fucking do it. And luckily the next day it didn't end up happening because I'm like, we were gonna look like fucking idiots to these people. I don't know how to clear a fucking room. Well, I've gotten one class on it. Like the day ANGLICO's kicking indoors,
The
clearing
raid
rooms,
leaders
like,
course?
there's an issue.
When you went to the Radio Leaders course?
No, because you guys went there, right? With Hitchens?
I went with. I was like the
sunk that
first.
Humvee?
I was like one of the first non-03s to go through the rated leaders course.
So what was that?
Wasn't it terrible?
I was talking
Fuck
about it.
yeah, I cried every day. Like not cried, but I told it, "Why are we here? Why are we
Yeah.
here?"
What was it like? I was talking. I mentioned on one of the prior podcasts, and I know I sound like an idiot, but there was a way they told you to like clear a weapon and reload, where you like.
You stick it in the dirt, and it
Okay,
was.
explain that because I'm not an idiot. There's people that probably heard that and they're like, he's a
It
fucking
was
idiot.
what was the one that's like a super hard stoppage to get? It was a
It's
brass
not a
over
stovepipe, it's
brass over bolt.
Yeah.
And it was like you know how everyone knows a brass over bolt, you slam the buttstock into the ground
Yeah.
and you pull the charging handle back. The way that they were teaching it was like you slam it into the dirt.
The barrel?
And you slam the barrel into the dirt and you pull it back, and I don't know like why, but it would fling all the fucking dirt at, like the sharp. It would like leave little marks and like cut you
Yeah.
on your skin and stuff. Yeah, I guess. So whatever, at the raid leaders course, it was kind of funny because we kept trying to. That's yours. At the raid leaders course, like every day we're like, we need to get the fuck out of here. We shouldn't fucking be here.
Yeah,
Because
and it
they were
rained, like,
giving
every
like
day.
hour-long classes on how to put that strap, NVG, like the things that we don't even get issued. You know what I mean? Like the grunts get the
Yeah. The
strap on the
goes over the
helmet,
Kevlar.
NVG, yeah. And we're like, dude, this is like, we're not above this, but like we don't get this shit issued to us. Like it doesn't make sense for us to be here. And so they were like, oh, you guys got to be there, blah, blah. You're the first non-03s to go through this course. We're like, whatever. Like, this fucking doesn't mean anything. It's just... Anyways,
I was one of the people on the angry side.
so we're like...
that were like scoring these school seats that you guys wouldn't normally get.
So we were doing like
Motherfuckers.
these like we were going through ranges, and it was downpouring in San Diego, like
Yeah,
fucking
I was in Corporal's
downpouring.
course and it was getting shut down because of it.
It was, yeah. So
And
we
then
were
you
like
guys were in raid leaders
shooting.
course.
We were doing like
we were
ranges.
indoors. and
We were
getting shut
shooting,
down.
and we were living in like the fucking 2-man tents in the downpouring rain, whatever. Not like whatever. And so finally we get contact with ANGLICO, and they're finally like, hey, like the weather's too bad. We're gonna bring y'all back. So we're like, cool, like whatever the fuck. So we're finished. Like we know this. So we're shooting on the range. Like this is fun because we know we're fucking leaving. And they come over the thing like, hey, the course is gonna end because the general of Camp Pendleton is shutting down all training. And we had our exit before this, you know. So all the grunts are like, all like, yay, fucking yeah, badass, and like. The instructors were like, man, this is fucking bullshit. Because they're civilians. Like, this is bullshit. If only y'all were like ANGLICO. There's only 4 of us. Like, ANGLICO wants to be out here and still fucking train. And we're like, yeah, we, of course, yeah, we do. Yeah, but the base is shut down, so we can't. Yeah. Well, we already, like, our 7-ton had already shown up. So we're like, yeah, like, fuck, we wish you could train, but since the base is shut down, our 7 tons here, we gotta leave.
Yes, we gotta go.
So we saved our
Sorry,
fucking...
guys.
Yeah.
I just called it my Uber.
Our image was like saved.
Yeah, the Uber shows up.
Starkey
Literally.
shows up like fucking
Yeah.
like. You remember, dude? I know we shitted on him earlier for Canada, but Starkey would show up like he would show the fuck
One
up.
tooth and all, didn't give a fuck about anything.
He would show up like still like in like regular clothes
happy.
and be like, yeah, happy. He'd be happy like, oh, we gotta go and get you
If
off
I ever
this
needed
range.
anything, I'd always go.
He
Starkey.
was always smiling.
He was legit, yeah. Other than like he had fun in Canada, good for him. But
Yeah.
I was not having a good time.
So we would do when we the whole ANGLICO thing, right? So like we were attached to somebody, and it was me and Shillem and Lane, or no, it was me and Ski and Sully, I think it was. We were with LAV, but we were like pretty much done. Our ANGLICO portion was done, so we needed to like come back, and we were like, fuck, we don't know how to get back. We called Captain Moriente. We're like, hey, we need to get back. He's like, all right, fuck, just send me your paws right now, and I'll come get you. We're like in a convoy, and he comes barreling through in the duty van, poof, poof, like off-roading the duty van, pulls up next to like a live convoy that's like still in like operation
Training
mode, right?
mode, yeah,
Training
like
mode.
like they're doing
And
their
Moriente,
thing.
you know Moriente, he's like, hey, get in.
He was legit.
Opens up the sliding door, and everybody watched us. I'm like, hey, like, see you guys later. Like, I'm grabbing all my shit, and he's like blaring stupid ass music, and we just jump out of the van, jump out of the LAV, jump in our van. And we're like, all right, deuces, man. And they're like, what the fuck was that?
He was one of those like Mustangs where like, you know, people are like, oh, he's a Mustang, but it's not like it's different.
Yeah.
He was a fucking Mustang.
Yeah.
Like, that guy was like super enlisted.
We're
as
talking
an
so
officer.
we're talking so enlisted
Hell
that
yeah.
we're in Scotland. We have a Range Rover, and we went to the PX right outside of the base. That's like a not PX, right? Bought a bunch of fireworks. We're talking like mortars, like the
In Scotland?
the ones that like you set on the ground, they go off.
Yeah.
We go on fucking base in the corner of base, so like nobody's at, and we blare "Born in the USA" as loud as possible out of our brand new
Hell
Range
yeah.
Rover and launch off fucking fireworks at the corner of the base.
Let them know.
As a captain, he's allowing this to
He
happen.
is legit, yeah.
You know,
I
like-
mean, it is America.
and that's, dude, he was like, we'd sit in the COC, like he went to Australia with us. So like all these other countries there, like 15 other countries are there in the COC, and he would put his arms behind his head and he would go, so what's it like being second place in the world for all you people? Like out loud. And they would be like shook, and he'd be like, it's no big deal, but
I'm just saying.
He would
I'm just
he would do
saying.
cocky shit like that all the time.
This one time I was
Cut his sheep in half. Like,
what the fuck?
He cut his what?
he fucking mowed. So where we were at in Scotland, he had to like drive to the OPs, but we had a brand new Range Rover.
Is he still
And
in?
there was a big deal. If you had a sheep, it was like $20,000 per sheep because it was like the farm.
What?
Not 20,000. It was probably. It was thousands.
That's what I was to say. I think that might be more than the Saudis charge for camels.
Thousands of dollars for these sheep because it was a really big deal. We were on these farmers' land where the OP cut through, and it was big enough to brief to everybody. And he would honk the horn at the sheep. Well, one time he goes, and this sheep just turned our way, darted in front of the car, and was like, "Dunk." And I was like, "No fucking way!"
We just
And
killed a sheep.
he goes, "Did you feel that, boys?" Slams on the brakes, and Corey's our team chief, so he gets out with him, and it's Corey. You look in the back, and it's the sheep that's cut in half, but its legs are like going everywhere, and it's Captain Moriente and Corey trying to drag the sheep off the fucking road, and it was like, "Rah!" And you know, like Corey's all fucked up, and Moriente gets back in the car, and he's like laughing, he's crying so hard. That's the shit that happened. He struck a driver on the road in our rental car on act. So we're in a big ass like Sprinter van, like the big ass like 15 packs van in Scotland, driving, and we go on a roundabout, and he comes off this roundabout, and I noticed he kind of sideswipes his car, and I'm like, fuck, we just hit that car, and everyone's like, no way. I'm like, dude, we hit that car, and the car comes pulling up next to us, and they're like, fucking mate, like yelling out the window, pointing at us, but nobody else knows we hit it. So everybody's like waving at the car, and they're like, hey, like super American tourists, like, oh, these guys.
Yeah.
And we got pulled over by the cops, and the cops found out we were Marines, and they were like, no big deal, boys. Like,
You guys are.
he's like,
just
those
saving
guys
the
are white
world.
trash anyway, so we don't even care.
Yeah.
That's literally what they said. And they just let us go.
I remember when I was in New Zealand, I had just got promoted to like sergeant or whatever, and so like I was in New Zealand and I just got promoted to sergeant, and like the way their military works is like it takes like 20 years to pick up sergeant. Like it's one of those.
Is it?
Yeah. Back on. Thanks a lot, Marley.
Where's
Weird
the?
dog.
Oh, there it is. You're right.
Comes back up.
Comes back up.
Hashtag Marley. Oh, dude, my mic's off. Go ahead.
Is it off still? So could people hear that?
What I was saying is,
Maybe
So we're
from the
back.
distance.
hashtag Marley the dog. So Marley, my wiener dog, jumped off my lap and pulled my laptop off. So that's cool. It's just a MacBook Pro.
It's just your minor setback.
Fuck it.
So-
Just throw it on the ground and there was beer on the fucking monitor and everything else.
Goddamn frat house.
God damn it, Marley.
So I was in New Zealand, and I had just picked up sergeant, and like in New Zealand it takes like fucking 20 years to pick up sergeant, and I pick it up in like 4 years or whatever. And so we're at the E Club on this base, and like the E Club is like, you know, when the E Club is cool, like 29 Palms, like it's fun. And so I'm like pretty drunk, and I'm drunk with like these Kiwis, like these New Zealand dudes, and they're loving that I'm like a sergeant, you know, because they're like, we can't hang out with any, and I'm like, dude, we're the same age, and this is fucking awesome. And so this barracks, they come out of the window and like, hey, shut the fuck up, mate. And so like, I'm a fucking sergeant where in a country where it takes like 20 years to become a sergeant. So of course I'm not fucking having this. I'm like, how fucking dare you talk to a sergeant like that? I'm like, I fucking better go up there and rip your fucking ass. And the Kiwis are loving this. They're like, yeah, go up there and fucking rip it. And so we're with like some other Americans that are like a part of like that are going to New Zealand, whatever. And so me and this other dude, it's me and the fucking Marsoc dude. We go into this barracks to go, like, rip some ass. This guy's, like, a sergeant who's, like, he's been to, like, Iraq and Afghanistan. He's missing a finger. Guy's, like, a fucking badass. I don't even remember his name. Fucking badass dude. And so we go into this barracks, but it's not like a barracks. It's a fucking squad bay. And so we take the ladder well on the outside, and we go into the second floor. And I'm thinking I'm going to see, like, rooms, find the one guy that's awake. But it's a fucking squad bay, which means it's not rooms. It's a big-ass open area. And this one guy gives an order, and it's like, I don't know what the order is, but he gives like an order, and it's like basically like everyone gather.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, so I'm scared shitless. And so I find out later that it's not like a regular recruit barracks. It's a barracks for training for the fucking SAS dudes.
Holy
and like,
shit.
yeah, for like the people that don't know what the SAS guys, it's like the Navy fucking SEALs of Australia. And I'm like
Even
a skinny
higher, really.
fucking dude. Yeah, like they're fucking bad, and they're like Samoan badass dudes, terrifying people. So
Are
I'm
you
like,
in uniform at this point?
I'm like
I'm a sergeant, damn
Are you
it.
wearing your camis? Or
I don't think I am. I might be actually. I don't think I am. But I'm scared fucking shitless because I know I'm gonna die. Right? It's me and a Marsoc dude, right? And so the lead like Kiwi dude of like the SAS guys like has like 100. We're surrounded by like 100 fucking dudes, and this guy's like, do you have any idea where you're at? Like, look at you. You're fucking surrounded.
to you?
To me and the other guy. And so,
What?
yeah, so I'm like, I want to cry, right? And so I'm like, I don't
be
know
a
what to
bitch
say.
about it.
No,
Fuck,
dude.
man.
Anyone
I
in
mean,
this
tell her
position,
how it is.
anyone in this position would fucking
Listen to this fucking
cradle,
guy.
would cradle. And so, like, you know what the fucking Marsoc dude next to me says? He says, I'm an American. I'll fight to the fucking death.
Hell yeah.
I look to this guy. I'm like, no. We don't do that as Americans.
Man.
Marsoc guys might, but no. He's like, I'm an American. I'll fight to the fucking death, and he meant it. Like he meant like he'll fucking fight dying, like, and which is cool, you know.
I feel bad that you weren't on
But,
board with that.
Oh, I mean, I faked it. I'm
You
like,
got, but the thing is, here's the deal: you are on board with it, but you got to realize the circumstances.
I-
if that was Rango not in the military, and it's like him,
Oh, yeah.
he's representing, but you're in the military. You know,
yeah.
like
no, I
That's
faked
completely
it.
different.
Yeah.
I looked at him. Was like I'm like shaking my head, not no, but like kind of like in circles, like dude, we shouldn't be saying that. You know, they're gonna
Like,
kill. They're
They're actually going
You
to
might
kill
live
us.
through this. I will not live through this. You know, and some fucking Kiwi dude comes and gets in the middle and like kind of like resolves it, kind of thing. Anyways,
God,
yeah, for me. So I'm talking shit the whole next day, and so, oh man, I'm gonna get so much hate mail from this. But they find out that the next day they find out that a group was fucking with the SAS guys, and someone says, because they saw my hoodie, they're like, yeah, it was a recon guy. So they go and they get after the recon guys, and I don't know why I'm whispering because they can hear this guy. But the recon guys that were over there, they were doing like fucking like log runs and shit, getting fucked with. And like, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to have the fucking SAS guys and the recon guys who went against me. Like, I'm already like, that's double death, you know? So
this fucking ANGLICO,
I try and,
dude.
So I just lay low. And so we go out like this weekend or like on the weekend. And these fucking Samoan dudes come up to me in a bar and I was like, hey, motherfucker, he wants to talk to you. And it's pretty cool. Like, I know I'm scared shitless, but it's kind of cool because there's this guy sitting in a chair in like a squared off area inside of a bar. It's like super mafia thing, man.
Yeah.
And like, I hate that I'm the guinea
pass.
pig, but it was kind of cool, you know? Like, I'm like, dude, I'd fucking die to see this. And they're like, hey. And he grabs me by my shoulder. Samoan's big as fuck. Grabs me by my shoulder, walks me over into this area. And my stupid ass is like, good evening, you know, to this guy. And I'm like, you know, like, I don't know what to fucking say. I'm about to die, you know.
Good evening,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
I'm like, good evening. And he's like, he's sitting in this chair, like
Rambo,
smoking.
according to
He's like, so you're the one? I'm like, yeah, I was like, yeah, it was me, you know. Like, I don't sound tough at all, you know. I'm like, it was me. And he was like, he was like, I had to rip those fucking ears off of you.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. And I was like, and this is the thing, he could probably do it. So I was like, oh shit. And I was like, I'm sorry, it was a misunderstanding. Like, I'm a sergeant. And he's like, it doesn't mean anything here, you know? I was like,
shit.
yeah, dude, because these are
You're
guys.
trying to like low key, like I'm not a big deal, but I'm a sergeant.
I'm trying to like.
You're trying to like fish it
get
out
the
there. You're
fuck
like,
out of there, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're like,
he's
I hope he takes his bait. I'm a sergeant.
I think he's like,
in all those countries, dude.
it's a big deal.
So like in the UK and stuff, you can join and you can stay a private the entire time. You can retire as a private. They'll let you do that. And it takes them like 10 years or something or more to become a sergeant.
Meanwhile, here I am, 6-year staff and CO. I'm
No.
like,
Yeah.
oh god damn.
I worked with some Brits as a sergeant, and they're like, "How long did it take you to become a sergeant?" You know, and I'm like, "Oh, it took this long." They're like, "You motherfucker!" You know, they're
Dude,
like,
I said
"Fuck you."
I said some slick shit like, I'm an American, like, you don't want, like, what's going to come with all of this. Like, you can kick my ass, but there's, like, this is going to be an international thing,
Yeah.
you know? It's the only thing that, and I was like, how about I buy you a beer? And he was like, you're going to buy me and my guys a beer. And I was like, I look around, like, I don't know if I could afford this, you know? But I'm like, I can do that. I buy fucking 6 beers, and I send the lady over I walk to the bar, I buy 6 fucking beers, and the lady walks it to him, and I fucking, like, I went and got with the 2 other ANGLICO guys. I'm like, we got to get the fuck out of here. They're going to kill me.
No
You
way.
Yeah,
Did
dude.
you stick them with the charge?
Oh, I paid for 6 beers.
Oh, they
There
were
were-
like, put it on their tab.
there was,
like
like,
the whole
there was-
fucking Dumb and Dumber.
Not to sound like a badass, but there was more than 6 people, and I only bought 6 beers. So
Dude.
they could figure that out.
But that's some shit where it's like borderline international incident. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
fuck it. They were going to kill me.
Not really, man. Think about when the Brits come to the fucking States and the shit they do in the barracks.
I'm telling you, now you gotta reverse it as imagine Brits come here and they walk into a squad bay at the boot camp and they're like, "Fuck these guys." And
That's
the
a
drill
big-
instructor
yeah.
finds out that could easily be like a hey, the Brits are no longer welcome or some crazy shit.
The British, like, commandos dude or whatever, they came to our barracks and was like, we're going to play a game called piss pong. So they play against each other, and they both piss in a cup. Their own cup. And
Well, yeah,
They
let's
play-
not be gross about it.
and whoever makes it first has to drink their piss. So we're watching this game, and it's like super anticipated because it's 1 cup. The guy makes it, he has to drink his piss. And then the guy that won, it was like, oh, yeah. And then he drinks his own piss. And we're like, dude, what the fuck is the point of that? We're like, yeah, but he had to do it first. We're like, what the fuck?
Dude, the
Kinda sounds
Brits
like you
do
lose.
the
Yeah,
weirdest
it's like,
shit.
you're going into that game knowing you're going to drink your own piss.
I remember,
What's-
I remember 7:00 in the morning going to base. Or not going to base, going to ANGLICO. And I was coming around the barracks where your room faced that like basketball court.
Yeah.
And there was 2 naked fucking Brits on top of the grill. You know where that grill was like built in?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't 7. It was probably 6 because the sun was just coming up. Fucking partying. No one was there. No one cared. And I'm like, that was probably 2014.
What's
13.
that game they'd play
They
where
should-
you had to guess like how many were in the hands? They'd hold it behind you and everybody put a number, or they hold it out. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
All right.
They shit in front of my barracks room in their last day.
Yeah.
So-
a human shit in front of
Like a
Reagan's
big
brain.
I
ass
heard
log.
about that.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I mean, that's
I thought
some,
they
They're
liked
animals,
me.
man.
that's some next
They're a
level
good time,
shit.
though.
I
Like,
thought
Tell me better people to party with, though.
I thought they liked me. They pooped in front of my
Those
room.
dudes were like, we all have fucking herpes, mate. Because they're talking about raw dog, and they're like,
So-
we raw dog every girl in
When we
Oceanside.
were
We're all
out
just
there-
like, you guys are rough.
when we
dude.
were out there, we went out with them, and Joey Ferguson got into a fight out there, got his ass beat at a bar.
By
The
one of them?
No, by like some civilian. The sergeant major that we were out with the Brits.
Oh, he's
was
super
like-
cool.
He was like calling up everybody. They're all getting to the bar, and he's like, "Don't worry." He's like, last time this happened, I guess one of the locals got into a fight with the Brit. The Brit ended up dying.
No way.
The sergeant major said they all got online, like literally a battalion worth of people got online and went door to door through the town and beat the shit out of everybody.
In Oceanside?
No.
No.
In Scotland.
Oh.
So the sergeant major was like that. He's like, nobody fucks with the Americans, and he was like getting all of his buddies in there, and I'm like, dude, this is about to be crazy.
About to
Because
be
Farrell was,
riots in the
talking shit to
streets.
Somebody and somebody beat him up.
Oh
Fuck.
shit! Do you remember when we all almost got in that skirmish in
Germany,
No, in
Canada.
Carlsbad? It's me, you,
Yeah,
you
I
remember?
was gonna bring that up.
That was legit. I was ready to
That was
roll,
not
guys.
legit. I was surrounded by like.
I was there with you. Yeah, I had
Again,
your
I
back,
was
Bear.
surrounded by-
I had your. I was willing to. That night I was willing to die.
I think I was out on the dance floor.
No,
or
no,
something.
no. You were in the. Remember, we were in the drive-through. That guy came up to the
Oh,
window.
I thought you were talking about before that.
Even before that.
Even before that, yeah, Bear was about to
So
die.
started from the beginning.
So this girl walked by me, and I didn't move for her. She's kind of like in a hurry, and she like shoulder checked me a little bit. Not really, but like she kind of like bumped into me. But it was like your basic. The bar is packed, but it was just a little bit aggressive.
Kinda
She kinda, like,
rude.
bumped into me, and I'm
You
like-
know when a bump is a fucking shitty bump.
But it was from a girl,
There's
so I didn't
it's
really
like,
think much of it. I'm
Even
like,
a girl, you're like, fuck you, bitch. Like, it's...
but at nothing.
Let's
again,
be
nothing-
honest.
What I'm saying is, I didn't. There was not. Literally, we bumped. I didn't even look back at her. It was just like I just noticed it. I'm like, oh, that was
Okay.
kind of a hefty bump.
Yeah.
And a couple minutes later, I get grabbed by my back, like the back of my head, and I get thrown out. And it's this guy who thinks that I shoulder checked his girlfriend, and I was trying to like fuck her. And it was so crazy to me because I'm like, dude, I don't know if you understand this, but I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Yeah.
I'm like, she literally just walked by me. I didn't even look at her. And he had 7 of the biggest fucking dudes in the bar that happened to be his friend. And it was me, and they were like horseshoeing me. And I'm like,
I was on the other side.
I'm like
the
fight or
alley.
flight
We were
mode.
in the alley in
Yeah.
Baghdad.
Carlsbad.
I about said Baghdad. Carlsbad.
yeah,
It
this
was like-
happened in Iraq.
It was
It's crazy out there, man.
it was total fight or flight mode, and I'm like, all right. In my head, I'm like, okay, clearly I'm gonna get my ass beat because there's too many people. So I'm like, who? At least I gotta hit. I gotta have some victory. I gotta hit somebody, you know.
Knock this motherfucker out. We'll be good.
And I'm like, I'm keeping them back. I'm like, you get back. Like they, you know, they keep.
Yeah.
I like watch them go behind me. I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm trying to like keep them all in front of me. And this little guy who starts it all is like jumping. Behind
I
all
hate
of his
that.
friends.
Oh, the little
And
dude.
he's like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck
like,
that
fuck him.
motherfucker.
And I'm like, homie, I like out loud. I'm like, listen, we all get it. You don't belong here. Like,
No,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. If anything,
This is, yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna knock
That's what
you
happened
out,
at the
bud.
parking lot.
And I'm like, it's gonna suck for you either way. So you might as well just end this.
Were you here for all this?
Fuck
Rango's
yeah, I was
there,
in,
and
dude. I rolled
And
out.
in my head, I'm like, I got Rango.
Who all were we
I
out
was
with
all
that night?
about it.
It was us 3 and who
Yeah.
else? There was
I don't
somebody
know.
else.
I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna punch someone.
And it was, and then
I had
don't
no
think-
idea. I was on the other side of the bar, like
we ended
dancing,
up
like
nothing ended up happening. I think we kind of like de-escalated it. We get in the car.
The cops came
Cops
around,
came.
and we were like, oh shit, we gotta
Rango
fucking
and I
bounce.
jump in the car with Justin. Justin pulls up. We go to Jack in the Box, and also we're in Jack in the Box, and we're like talking about it. And some dude walks up to the car, and he's like, "Nice car."
Mid-order.
And I'm like-
Remember? You were
Yeah, it was
ordering,
mid-order, I'm like,
and he came
Justin
from the car
doesn't
behind
know.
us.
Justin's like,
but he was being super cool about it because he didn't know I was in the car with you guys.
Yeah, and you were like, that's the guy I was
I'm
telling
like,
you
"That's the
about.
guy." And then
And-
all of a sudden, that guy realizes it, and like,
No,
weird shit happens.
no.
dude.
Cosmo told him. He's like, I know who you are. You were
Yes.
just fucking with my boy.
Yes.
And then remember, I was
And
like, oh
it was-
shit,
it was
this is
that
about
guy
to go
and
down.
The little guy in the car.
No, then
the little guy gets
We
out.
all got out.
No,
The
no,
little
no,
guy
no.
gets out, and he's like, no. He's like, fucking go home. Listen, like, you don't want any of this. Like,
No,
Dude,
what
let's be
happened?
real, bud.
Hold on. What happened was, dude walked up to my window, and I didn't know who he was at first. He's like, "Nice car, man." And I'm like, "Thanks, dude." And you're like, "That's the dude."
This is
And I'm like,
mid-order.
I'm like, "Fuck this dude, man."
And it was his little buddy that
And
was in there.
hold on, and I got out of the car, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Nobody fucks with my fucking friends or something like
Yeah.
that." And I looked at Rango like, "You ready?" And I looked back at that dude, and that
I was out. I was like, fuck it. I'm ready. because I wanted to fight that fucking little dude.
Little
And I'm
dude,
like,
yeah.
The little dude got out, and I'm like, I know you don't want any of this.
I hated that you were lined up with him, and me and Cosmo were lined up with that big ass fucking dude.
Dude's
It's like,
Fuck
damn
that
it,
dude, man. Fuck
I was
that
like,
dude.
Fuck, I'm gonna die. I wish I
wanted
could
to
go
murder
against that
that
little
Dude, I was
dude.
ready to knock. When you guys were like, "That's the dude that was fucking with us," I was like, "Fuck this bitch."
For everybody that's listening,
Dude, I was
if
in
you've
the-
been to Carlsbad, you don't go to the alley with good intentions.
I was in the back seat.
The alley only terrible.
The
things
alley is the
happen.
last 2 hours of the night, hour and a half, and you're the bottom 20% are in there. Like, all right, let's make
Like
something
my
happen.
favorite thing ever is to think about going to Carlsbad with Rango, where I was like, I know I'm gonna get the good Rango, but it was always like what
The
was
good
it?
Rango.
It was like it was coyotes, boars, and then the alley, right? That
Yeah.
was like the triangle that we had.
Yeah.
And then you go to like Senior Grubby's for a burrito. If you made it that far.
Yeah.
I've only been
So-
there once, and it was with you.
So
That-
I walked past there
Get that
one
in
time, and
Fuego.
Zerzer was getting fucking petted in the head by an older Mexican dude. And I was like, what's going on in there? But when this whole thing was going on, that guy came up to the window, and I was sitting in the back seat, and I couldn't get out because he was standing right there. And I was like, I gotta get out, man. Like, I know we're gonna fight, but I gotta get out of the car.
Can I,
Yeah.
can I get a
And
room
then
there? Can I get some room
everyone
there?
was like, dude, we're gonna fuck you up, motherfucker.
He ended up just
And
walking back.
I remember
No, 'cause
we
the
were
cops
telling
went by. The
the
cops,
cops,
that's
and
what it
everyone was
was.
like, "Oh
everybody
shoot, it's the
equally
cops!"
was like, okay, we should probably stop.
Because
this.
wait,
Like,
yeah,
let's go.
because we thought it got called on us, but
Yeah.
we were telling that little dude like, "Hey man, like this is gonna get really bad. You should get out of here." Because like it kind of sucked
The
because
guy
like
that started it.
I was like, "Dude, I'm kind of small, and I know this guy's gonna fuck me up, but like whatever, I'm good with it." But it was like, "Oh, dude, I can see in you like you don't want to do this."
we were like, hey, but before this starts, like,
you
feel free
we
to
can
leave.
tell like
We'll-
you don't want to do this.
We're
you
not
know?
mad. We're not mad if you walk.
You can
away.
tell he
Yeah.
was like anxious, like, oh shit. You know, it's like, dude, just get out of here because it's gonna, like, I don't want to do this, and it's just like it's gonna get ugly.
Man, Carlsbad.
Carlsbad.
I really miss just being able to just get.
I'm not gonna
shit-faced
throw
in the
my
barracks.
bar out. I'm not gonna throw my
I
Carlsbad bar
wouldn't
out there
either.
because it's a good spot.
I miss
it's an
getting
unknown
shit-faced in the
spot.
barracks and being like, all right, which boot will drive us to Carlsbad tonight? And then you just pick the shitty. Like one night I came in. So one night Corey, Joey, Aaron, I think Seth maybe were out. I picked them all up in my car, and I was sober. But we came back to base on Pendleton, and I'm like, check it out. Everybody was hammered but me. I'm like, I'm gonna act hammered too. And it was like 2 a.m. This PFC was at the gate, and I'm like, I have all the IDs, and I'm acting like I'm drunk. We're all sergeants, so like on our IDs. And I'm like, you can figure out which one of us are the sober one, like fucking with him.
Oh my god!
And you could
dude.
tell
Why
he
would
was
you
like-
even fuck with a gate guard at all?
Because he was a little PFC, like, and you could tell he was like, "Fuck this." He was like, "Have a good night, Sergeant." Like, didn't even question it. He's like, "I'm not dealing with this shit right now." He's like, "I don't got time for this."
What was your favorite strip club in San Diego? Were you guys strip club guys? I'm not.
Not really.
No.
I mean, we went to
Really?
the
Most
Purple-
dudes
we went to-
are.
I mean,
I'm
Purple-
not.
We went to the Purple Church, but
Purple
the food
Church, I
was
went
good.
twice.
I went.
Did you say
with
the
you that
food
time.
is good? That was
Yeah, they have steak nights.
that was Farrell's, the other Farrell's going away party.
That's where we went to.
Yeah,
I wasn't a big.
that
fan
was
of
the
strip
end of the
club.
night.
I would say my favorite place
a
is
waste of
probably Dorothy's. It's where you get your
Shut
uniform
the
ready
fuck
and
up.
everything's stitched on. Yeah.
Where
No,
do
but
we-
that place
you know
is-
Cabo shut
Everybody
down?
always talks about strip clubs, man. So Lejeune, there's like 5 around the
Driftwood?
base. Well, it's no longer Driftwood. God rest its soul. It changed from Driftwood to fucking Platinum. There's a place called The Cave, and then there was a place called. People are screaming at the radio right now. I don't remember the other one, but anyway,
Do you know? I bet that.
Driftwood. I got bit where there was a fucking bite mark on
I
my
bet
neck.
that's
like
how
a
you know you're
dog
cool
bit
in
me.
Lejeune right now. Is like, oh, you were here when Driftwood was here. You know, like
He
you
knows.
know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
oh, you were here like when Severson was here. Now
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you weren't here before Driftwood. Yeah. you're
God,
fine.
what was it? It was
Boot.
The Cave. It was
It would think
the.
it's platinum boot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other one, but dude, we got back from Iraq and we went to Driftwood. All my buddies were like, let's go to the strip club. But I'm like, dude, fuck that, man. I'm not a strip club person. I'm not, like, it's a waste of money. Like, I'm a money person.
I don't believe in throwing like money at. I don't want to have a vagina.
half of us were there with our wives. Like, we were having a cookout. Like, it was like a big, like, we're all back from Iraq. All the families are hanging out, like, chilling. And all the dudes were like, let's go to the strip club.
American
and
Sniper.
I'm like,
kids and shit.
and I'm
Had
like,
to beat the
dude,
dog.
I don't want to go, but everybody was going, man. So I go with these motherfuckers, and we go in. God, fucking strip club. We go in, and we sit down, and it's like Sunday at midnight. So it's like the B team minus.
Oh,
You know what I'm
everybody's got a
saying?
C-section? Those
Dude,
are my favorite.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, some chick comes out. I'm like, look at this fat fucking skank. Oh my god, look at this chick. Like, can you believe this? You know,
Honey,
and
when's the last time you had a good meal?
dude, I'm pretty hammered and I'm talking shit and I'm an asshole for it. But I'm sitting here and it's like, look at this fucking bitch. Like, fuck her, man. And then the next chick comes out and I'm like, oh, there's another fat fucking skank out here. Bouncer comes over. He's like, Bouncer comes over and he's like, hey man, you can't call him fat fucking skank.
You're saying it
Like,
to them?
I'm saying it loud enough apparently where they heard me. So they went and told the security. Security came to me.
That's pretty loud.
Cause I'm like, dude, fuck this place, man. Cause I don't like being a strip club. So I'm like, man, fuck this.
You're not
and
taking their personalities into
and
consideration.
and it's a shitty squad we got going on here, right?
Tiffany's a great lady.
You don't think they're walking up to you like,
So I'm
God,
sitting here-
this fucking customer.
Look at this fucking loser.
fucking
Look at
asshole.
this
Fucking fat
Look at,
customer.
he's throwing nickels at me. What the fuck? Who uses coins? Fucking fat ass fucking piece of shit.
You think it's a
Anyway.
mutual, like, hey, I don't want to dance on you, and you don't want me to dance
Look, he's
on
only
you.
a Lance Corporal, man.
Yeah.
We gotta get.
Yeah.
Where's our majors at? We need some majors. They're the ones that are making the money. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and this one chick comes out. She's pretty decent looking. I'm like, okay,
He's got Justin's check mark.
I can get behind this. I'll give her $1.
Gino in Australia would crumple the dollars and say, dance for your dollars, monkeys, and throw them at the strippers. And I'm like,
Well, I walk up and give her, you know, they always like pull her G-string out or whatever. You tuck
he's
it
got
in.
etiquette. He's got stripper etiquette.
You know what I'm saying? And then they always kiss you on the cheek afterwards, right? They always do
I don't
that.
know, Justin. You tell
I
me.
don't know.
So they always kiss you on the
I
cheek.
don't
after-
know. I don't know.
So they always kiss you on the cheek afterwards. So
Is
this
this at
chick
a
goes to
strip
kiss me on the
club?
cheek. So this chick goes to
Or is
kiss
that
me
a
on the
Walmart?
cheek, and then boom, bites my neck. Boom. And I'm like, you bitch. And I said that. She's like, shh, be quiet, you're gonna get me in trouble. And I'm like, fuck you. Or no, she
I'm
bit
never
me.
bringing him to a strip
Now
club.
listen. She bit me. She's like, you can't make fun of my friends. And I'm like, you fucking bitch.
Oh, shit.
And then she's like, be quiet, you're gonna get me in trouble. And I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, this is bullshit. And then I went and sat back down. I calmed down. I sat back down. And then the next chick come out. I'm like, look at this fucking fat ass skank. And the security comes around and kicks us all out for it.
Good.
Almost getting a fight in the parking lot with the strippers because all of them are out there getting ready to go home. So they're all like, that's that motherfucker right
As they
there,
should.
kind of moment. Then I go home and my now ex, it was like, I got this big ass bite mark. Dude, the next day it's purple. It's like a
built the whole story
solid.
up for it.
She's like, don't fucking touch me. Like, you need to get an STD check. I can't believe they're that close to you. Like,
Jesus.
and I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here, bro.
I had a
Probably.
hooker,
Fuck strip clubs,
I
man.
had a hooker kiss me once.
Ew.
And here's the deal. I don't want...
Is that it?
you don't-
Is that it?
No, I fucked her. But you don't ever kiss...
And where? Japan?
we were in a brothel in the Philippines. We bought the entire brothel out.
What does that entail?
Okay, so so you go to the Philippines, right? You go to a brothel. It is pretty much a bar, but with like it's all about karaoke. Everybody does karaoke. So you go into a room. There's a giant bar,
That's
big ass
true.
bar in the beginning of it. There's like a staircase, and then there's like 20 rooms in this place. Each room you go into has a big wraparound couch and a karaoke machine and a TV. You buy the room. Hey, I want a room with like 5 of us, and then the mama-san who like owns all the hookers brings all the hookers in. And you go, okay, I want her, her, and her, and everybody picks. The
I thought it
hookers
was
that
a-
don't get picked get all sad and shit.
I thought it was a karaoke place.
But it's always karaoke, so then
can't
that's the theme of it.
There's some solid tunes though.
So our platoon basically like bought out the entire brothel, and so like we were all naked. Like I was behind the bar serving people, and my gunny walked in, and I'm like, Gunny, you want a drink? Because I'm like hammered. And I just got done banging a hooker, and I'm like, I'm naked, but we own the bar, so like. we can
Where
do what
does
we
the
want.
karaoke go into this? It's like,
You-
who's singing?
don't.
Over here, like, all right, who's singing in
You
Linda
don't,
Ronstadt?
and that's the thing. But the MPs were with us. They bought him out because we were friends with all of them. He actually, so one of my MPs, the guy who I was telling you about who drinks No Explode and like vodka, he like
Insane.
shattered 2 of the T vertebrae in a hooker's back because he fucked her so hard.
Oh my god.
So the next day we came back and the mama-san was like, you either pay for the hospital bills or you're not allowed. So he couldn't come back with us. He is a giant. Like, picture a literal giant with a 4'9", 100-pound Asian hooker.
There had to be more to it than that because I've seen some.
He like
Some, like,
compressed
super-
her 2, whatever the T, you know, like your vertebrae, like in your back, you're like T1, 2, whatever. He compressed 2 of them, and she got sent to the hospital. She was probably under 100 pounds, and he was maybe 8% body fat.
So there was no singing?
So
back to the
Either way,
karaoke.
either way,
How
back
was
to
the
it.
acoustics?
you know, so like the hookers and stuff. Anyway, back to the fucking hooker kissing me. Jesus Christ, this hooker kissed me. You don't do that. But her tongue was cold as ice. And I'm like, you're not. That solidified my hookers and strippers aren't real people. They're not.
She's dead inside, probably.
Her soul is dead.
Cold tongue.
Which is why you can like hit them and stuff, and it doesn't matter. I didn't hit a hooker, but
Oh, man.
Have you ever
Like-
kissed?
like strippers aren't like real
Jesus.
people. They're not. I mean, you can like. That was my dream. Like joining
That's
the
not
Marine
true.
Corps, I'm like, I want to marry.
I disagree with that
I said I
statement.
want to marry a stripper, and then strippers are like soulless, so they'll have like hot stripper friends will come over.
I had a buddy that was dating
This
a
has
stripper
nothing to
for
do
a
with
while.
love.
It's
This is all
horrible.
about like setting up. I
when
get BAH, and then I get to bang all her stripper friends, and they're not like real people, so you can like spit on.
They
them
are
and
real
stuff.
people.
When you were
They're
joining the
interesting.
Marines, like, did you know what you were getting yourself into?
A
No,
little-
he had
so my
family.
my brother was a grunt.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So like, and my brother-in-law was a scout sniper with 1-1. He was on a MU when 2001 when 9/11 happened.
oh, yeah.
So like, he was the first guys out to Afghanistan. My grandpa was a Marine, so I know the stories of it all. You know, I know it's fun, you know, all that, but I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
Drizzy, did you know?
What I was getting into?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard stories and shit, but like, dude, you never know until you do it.
Actually, did you know that
That's
you were going to
true,
go to
100%.
Syria? Because, like, it was nothing but Iraq and Afghanistan going on.
Yeah, that was like kind of just dropped on me. Like there was talks about it, but that was just dropped on me out of nowhere.
Because even going into the deployment, we didn't even know about.
Remember, Pena brought it up. Pena's like, they're going to do a convoy into Syria. And we were like, oh, fuck. We were like, Pena's just an idiot. We're
Yeah,
not convoying
and
into
not
Syria.
with Nutter. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, we were getting the phone calls. It was Burton. Burton's the one that orchestrated all of that. Burton got the United States into Syria. So,
Really?
shout out to him.
Yeah, it was
No,
good-
yeah,
good-
and then he got off ship.
we say that?
He
Is that something we could say? He's still in.
No, he's still he knows it. He tells
But
everybody.
it was good. I mean, it was good for their team. I'm just.
Because they hit us up. A task force hit us up, and they're like, hey, man, because he got off ship and went to Kuwait to start working on it. And then they're like, they called and he wasn't there. So I was like, I answered, and they're like, hey, can you guys have your 777s towed by dump trucks? Like civilian dump trucks? And I'm like, let me get back to you on that. Like, I'm down with it. I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah.
But let
is
me
it physically.
let
yeah.
me see what
actually a
happens.
really cool
Dude, in
question.
the OPSO,
I would just
Yeah.
say yes. I'd be like, yes.
the OPSO was like, quit talking to them. Like, basically, don't even answer their calls because it's not going to happen.
How do they get a number to the ship?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I don't even-
Dude, it was like this dude called and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man? This is Steve. I
what's
was
up?
wondering
We're at
if
war. Can you guys help us?"
bring some Artie out to Syria? You know, kind of. It was basically like
yeah,
that.
we need some help.
The watch and see, I was like, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then to meet the requirement, the BLT expanded like their requirement to meet the request. Excuse me, and then your team got tagged with it, right? So how was it? Just 4 of you guys that went to Syria?
It was the whole team, the whole fix of 5. It was
5 of you, okay.
Me and Drayson, Hitchens, Creel, and fucking Captain Eggs.
Carrillo.
But you guys weren't they living? Y'all were living like shit, weren't y'all?
Oh yeah, like when we got
Yeah,
there,
dude, they're living in dirt. I got the photos.
It was different because like I feel like most deployments, I don't know, like you get there and there's already like a fob. There's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
dude.
was I thought it was gonna be like that because we got to like a little Air Force like landing strip and I was like, oh, this is where we're fucking setting up.
In Syria?
Yeah, and
You're like, this is hood as fuck.
no, it was just like, oh, this is just where you're landing in. Like we're not staying here.
Was
Yeah.
that part nice though?
I like. As far as like the standards out there, it was just like such a weird.
Was it
fucking
like
terrain.
Djibouti
Hold
or-
on. Did they have a green bean coffee?
No, they didn't. Have
Okay,
anything.
if they didn't have green bean coffee, it's
They
still a
were
little
literally
shitty. It's
just
still a little
got done
shitty.
throwing up like a little defact tent, like it was like getting civilized.
Like
but-
shittier than Lemonnier?
Oh, it was by
Dude,
far
Lemon-
shitty.
Dude, Lemonnier is one of the best
So
places you
Will,
can
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you see
yeah.
Will put up? Will was like, "Hey, who's been a Lemonnier or who's been a Djibouti?"
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you could literally order 13 egg omelets and they'll make it.
You can order. You can order.
You can order
delivery
probably
pizza
20.
there.
I mean,
But well, hold on. So going back, how long when you guys landed? How long were you in the LZ before you guys pushed off to wherever you were going?
There was probably like a couple weeks, and it's funny you brought that shit up about like the dump trucks because like literally like right before we got there, there was like this. I got woke up in the middle of the night because our like trucks and shit were getting shipped out there. Like driven out there through fucking just driving them on tractor trailer looking fucking things. And so I guess like there was like some civilian contractors that they hired to take them out there to Syria, and they just like left them on the border of Iraq. Like they got a threat or like some type of fucking threat saying they were gonna get killed or something if they brought them, and they just like dumped our trucks on this like the border of Iraq, and they were like, hey, wake the fuck up, you gotta go out there and like stand watch on the trucks. And I was like, what the fuck, like what happened, like. And then they tell me the story, and they're like, gear up and shit, like you actually like no shit have to bring like everything, like you're getting like going, like you're not going to come back to Kuwait at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, and then they they end up saying like, oh no, there was like the first 20 people that went there to like this working party or whatever that got there were going to go. And I was like literally the first one to like get out of my rack and be like fully fucking like kitted up, like ready to go. So I get there and I'm just like, where the fuck is everybody else? And this is no shit, like a lot of trucks. This is
Second Duke
like
Carrillo.
10, 20 trucks, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm thinking like,
he's already having his fucking people. PTSD meltdown.
But I don't know what happened. I guess I got lucky because they were like, oh, you were the first one here, like, you don't have to go. And they were just like, you can go back to sleep because this is like 2 a.m.
Yeah. You were like ready for war.
Yeah, and I'm just like ready to fucking
on the
go.
ready.
Yeah.
What are those safety words? You're
like, I just zeroed my rifle.
What was the thing we used to use before you? If you had to walk up on somebody, you had to use a safety like.
Oh, it's a safety word.
Not the word, but the you use the sentry where you're like warm weather today, and they have to answer the correct question.
They say the second half,
Drizzy does that shit to him. He's like, warm weather we're having. No, lightning, thunder.
Warm weather we did have. Listen to my accent. Let's be honest.
What is it like for like you to go through like your serious stuff, or like I don't know, you spend like your whole like. You did 8 years, right? Yeah. You spent like 8 years or however long years, and you train for like
12
for like war, or you go to war or whatever.
It's fucking terrible.
Like, and you get done with it.
What I imagine is, what I try to tell people is that imagine like civilians or people who have been to war and then people who haven't been. So like for me, I haven't been. So imagine like training for a baseball game that you like baseball, right? And for 8 years, but then never getting you just practice every day, but you never get to play the game.
Yeah, but I mean,
your
like
experience is different though.
But I mean, like towards like when you go into the civilian world, because you're still your entire 8 years is like all anticipated for like the enemy is bad, the enemy is bad.
Sucks.
Well, like if I fuck up my job, people could die.
So that just happened at work the other day. We were doing some plumbing work, and we could not figure it out. It was something was fucked up, but it was like the logistics. Imagine like a radio, right? And you know how it works, and you're doing it, and it should work, and it just fucking doesn't. Same thing was happening at work the other day, and I'm like, I kind of took a step back. I was getting really fucking mad, and I'm like, wait, like no one's gonna die because of this.
Yeah,
like it's and that's when I'm like, fuck, dude, like no. This isn't that big of a deal. Like, we can just, no one's going to die.
I get people tell me, they're like, dude, you were super laid back. Like, the like actual students and people I interact with. And I'm like, it's just because, like, everything's just so stupid now.
Yeah.
Like, I look around, I'm like, this is like, whatever, man.
Yep.
It's weird, yeah.
Because everything is now at your own pace.
It's at your own pace, yeah.
It's more of like a, dude, the only way I can put it is no one's going to die if it goes wrong. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Even like the small shit.
But the stuff where people could die, like, so when I go outdoors, like when I do a long hike or something like that, you take it seriously still. I think stuff like that, you know, I think like when you, 100%. Like with you, like with bike riding, you know, motorcycle riding, you take it seriously. You're like,
you have like a respect for it. You have a respect for your, so I have a way I put it is I have a respect for my own adrenaline. So like the Marine Corps used to give me adrenaline, and you have to respect the adrenaline it gives you because your chances of death are high. So like anything we do with helicopters or shooting, it's all adrenaline ridden. So now the way I get my adrenaline through bike riding or stuff like that, drag racing, you have to respect it, because if you don't, you're kind of fucked. You don't really know why you're doing it then. I know why I have to get my adrenaline, but I respect the reason why.
What's your adrenaline? What's like your adrenaline thing now?
Speed, anything fast, anything.
It's like reckless. You have like a respect for life, but then it's kind of weird because you have like being in the military, like probably one of the shittiest things about it is like you're gonna know someone that's gonna pass away.
100%.
Like just if you give it some time, you're gonna know somebody.
Yeah.
And
learned.
You're gonna like have.
When
like,
did you learn that lesson?
Dude?
When's the first time you found out someone you knew passed away?
Probably
before I even joined. My friend Matt Martinek, who is the army guy who went AWOL. He ended up being with the Taliban.
Really?
Oh,
no, who's the guy I'm talking about?
I just posted a meme of him the other day. Fuck.
It starts with a B, doesn't it?
The army guy who he ended up being like
yeah,
a
he abandoned his post
drinking and
and became
smoking.
Taliban.
My best friend growing up, not my really good friend in high school growing up, he was part of the crew that went to look for him, and they got ambushed and all murdered.
Oh,
They
okay.
got killed. So that was
Bergdahl.
Yeah. So that was the first time, like one-on-one, where I'm like, oh shit, someone I know that's in the military is now dead that I went to high school with.
It's super sad, man.
It's the worst shit ever. And then you really fucking, that was terrible.
We were on watch together for that when Green.
No, I was in the berthing area, and I got up early for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, you came in to
and
relieve, right? And
yeah, because Fisher was on watch.
Yeah.
And I woke up early, and I was like sitting there shaving. I'd already gotten dressed, and I was sitting there shaving, and I was like, well, I'll go to early chow or whatever. And then I just heard, the fucking call, like, what was it for the medics? What's the call? They were like,
I don't remember.
Flight squad or some shit. But they were like, and then they were like, they called River City. They're like, set River City 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I heard them say the bullseye for wherever they wanted the flying squad. Because they were like, hey, man down. That's what they said. They were like, man down. And they said the bullseye. And I heard them say the bullseye, and I knew it was close to the LFOC, for those that don't know, the Landing Force Operations Center, which is like the brain, the hub of the Marine detachment on the ship. And I heard it, and I'm like, dude, that's the LFOC, I think. So I fucking grabbed my shit, and I went up there, and Fisher was on duty, you were on duty, right? And I'm like, bro, is everything good? And he's like, dude, someone committed suicide.
And it was in the bathroom right behind the watch.
Like where we would go out and go, everybody on watch in that berth, and that P-way would go.
It's super shitty because, like...
Did you know him?
Yeah, well, I mean, all of us knew Green because he was part of the command element or whatever, but, like, probably Bear was probably the closest to him, but it was kind of weird because he was talking about, like, being depressed and things like that, but...
They took him to the chaplain that night.
That night, and, dude, Slinger is a solid dude.
Isn't he?
Yeah, man, because
Who?
Bowringer.
Oh, you call him Slinger?
Yeah, because when it all happened,
he's so moto, man.
He was really good friends with Green, right?
Yeah,
and
he's the one that took him to the chaplain.
Yeah, and it's one of those things in the military where, like, if someone gets hurt, you worry about the people that are close to that person.
Yeah, it's your friends.
Yeah, so I was like, shit, I was really worried about Bowringer, and Bowringer was like took it probably better than anybody. He was like Green left, knowing that he was loved. I told him he was like, the last thing I told him was I love him, so he knows he was loved. And I was like, man, this is like, it was like, it's something to look up to, like it's crazy.
Honestly, I didn't really know him. When they said this kid had died, because I didn't go in the room or anything like that. I didn't know who they were talking about.
I knew him because I was always.
I felt bad for that.
We were always fucking with him. He was just always in the aisles, just fucking off.
Even if you didn't know him personally, you've seen him. So it's like, you could notice, like, now that rack is empty.
I talked to him the night before.
That's got to be rough for the guys that slept around him.
Yeah.
To come back and that rack is empty.
And he was like, he would say shit like, "Oh, I'm going to kill myself." And everyone said that in the Mew.
Yeah.
And the last thing I ever said to him was, I was like, "Green, let's see that big old dick of yours." Because he was a black dude.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. That's the last thing I ever said to him. And I don't know why I said it. It was something stupid me and him were joking about, but that's the last fucking thing I ever said to him, man, was let me see that big old dick of yours.
I got off ship, like, right before that. But you can notice, like, the whole, like, the whole Marine like element on the ship, like the morale was going fucking down.
Fuck yeah, it
That
was.
like,
We were close to being home too.
You come
We
to
were
the
1
last
month
third
from
of the
being home.
deployment. You come to a last third of a deployment, especially a MU deployment, man, and it's just like
You're just
you
over
get to
it.
that point where you're like, I just want to fucking go
That's where
home.
you know when that happens is when you're over port calls. When you're overhearing about where you're going to go to, and you're like, dude.
Oh, I was always about
Singapore,
knowing
and I'm
where
like,
I'm going
no,
to.
fuck it. Like, let's just
It
go
doesn't
home.
matter. Yeah.
I
like,
was ready.
You know
to
where
go
it's
for
just
it.
like, I'm just done. Like, please.
And when that whole thing happened, like I was on watch, and he did it in the bathroom right behind us, and like on the ship, it's the only
Yeah.
private bathroom. I remember like being on watch, and it's super shitty, but like you're knocking on the door, like, man, this person's still in
Yeah,
here.
who's in here
like,
taking so long?
Yeah, and I was getting all butthurt about it that I have to walk and use the bathroom, and I'm like, damn, man, I wonder, like, it makes me think, like, you know, was he still some sort of like, and I'm knocking on this door, getting frustrated, or like, you know, it's kind of like a weird thing to think about, you know.
Actually, no, dude. I had a Navy guy tell me that. They said that originally they thought the same thing you did. They were knocking. They're like, what the fuck? And they would go down and use the other head. And then someone was like, dude, I think the door is stuck
Yeah.
because it hasn't been open all night. Because people like you know, tried it all night. Nobody could. And then they like popped it open. And that's when they saw that he had hung
They like
himself
kicked it in or something. And
that's horrible, man.
it was
You know,
shitty.
I'll tell you what, man. Going to Iraq, I used to read the Marine Corps Times all the time when I was like a junior Marine and stuff like that. and during the war, like the two wars were going on, every issue had a list of who had been killed, you know, since the last issue. And I just remember seeing a lot of them were like, you know, killed by non-combat incident, whatever. And I always thought like, oh shit, they're like wrecked a Humvee, like something happened. And then I went to Iraq and I realized people were offing themselves. Dude, it was like a lot. Like people were just fucking killing themselves like crazy.
I had at least one that I knew or worked with like the whole fucking time I was in every year. Like at least one. Like even my first year, a dude from comm school, like total fucking never would have like expected it. He was like always like the fucking happy dude, almost like the Robin Williams type like scenario where it's just like on the outside that dude's just like fucking always having a good time, but like some shit got to him. But
well, I think like Robin Williams had a disease, so he knew he was only going to get real bad, and that's why he ended up killing himself.
Robin Williams did not kill himself. Robin Williams died masturbating.
No fucking way, dude.
Have you read how he died? Do I need to talk about
He
this?
hung himself like everybody else.
He hung himself. Did you from
the closet?
From a closet, arched over. His wife had just gone to go get groceries. What do you do when your wife just goes to get groceries? You jay off real quick. And then in the interview,
Is that
his wife,
standard?
In the interview, his wife said, "Oh, we found him, quote unquote, fully clothed." Why would you even say we found him fully clothed? Like, why is that even like a?
Because people like you
You guys talking about Robin Williams?
He killed himself jaying off. He was
No
naked
way.
as fuck, jaying
Get
off and
outta
killed
here.
himself.
Yeah, they
Get
like did
outta
the police
here.
report where it's like, oh, he had his clothes on, and we're trying to cover his
Look at that
character or
shit.
whatever.
That's just stating fact.
Why-
If
if I ever
fact?
died, I would highly. Why would my parents? Why would the thing be like, oh, he died? I mean, he had a shirt and pants on.
His
He
pants
had a
were
nice
pulled up, by
Gucci
the
belt,
way.
by the way.
I'm telling you, that man was he was too happy to die.
No way, dude.
well, that's what I was saying about this kid. The same fucking thing. It's just like
It's I think, dude, suicide's crazy, man. Like people like.
Where you guys
I think
at?
when people are going for it, like there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Absolutely not. Because
And this is hold on. I'm not saying there's nothing. I'm saying now.
I agree with you.
And this is coming from me who has had a few family members, like a few, kill themselves. People in the military, like a friend.
I agree with you.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I feel like I have some experience with it, and I just look at it like.
You have to think of how. Okay, but really think of I want to kill myself. Life sucks. Everybody says it, but think about actually pulling through with it. Think about the seconds before you have a gun to your head, doing the act of pulling the trigger. I could never do that.
I think that's why
Think
you
about
find
how
out a
low
lot
you
of
have
those.
to be.
I
How
think a lot of those
low.
people are fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be like beyond low to pull through with it.
That's crazy. Anyway,
was-
do
it
you
was-
guys have any time restrictions? Because I'm probably going to make this 2 episodes.
If it's the Christmas one, I guess, yeah. It'd be cool.
I'll do half. What I'll do is release half of this on Christmas Day and then the other half on the Thursday, which is like 2 days later.
Why did my teeth hurt?
So, but I'm going to keep going as long as you guys want to.
My teeth hurt.
Yeah, I think we got a good
time
flow.
is it?
It's up to you, Drizzy.
Well, I mean, do you guys work tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, man, I'm out of school.
Is it 11:30?
What?
Is that real?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, how far are we into the second episode?
I don't know, man. I'm just going to cut it wherever. We're at 4 hours and 40 minutes.
Is it really 11:30?
We're at
Drizzy.
almost 5 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't this a good time, though?
Yeah.
You want to cut it here? Let's cut it here. Thanks, everyone. Hey, do you guys want to...
I gotta take him home.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Hey, do you want
30
to...
minute drive.
What's your Instagram? You want to throw it out there? You want to throw out your SoundCloud for your rap page or anything?
No, I mean,
Nothing?
I'm just a normal fucking everyday normal guy. You know?
Drizzy, you're killing
That's not
it,
true.
man. I'm super
You're a
proud
goddamn
of,
Marine,
of where
brah.
you're at. Makes me super happy.
What about you? You got any social media you want to throw out? And I'll throw it at the beginning, too.
What's my Instagram? Lieutenant Watchdog. Yeah, send
Is
the
it
hate mail
Lieutenant
there.
_Watchdog?
Yeah. But I would at least send appreciation to my fiance and my 2 kids. Dude. When I'm telling you, they put me on the right path. They put me on the right path. They every day I have purpose because of them. And that company, that Vita Slim, you should check them out. Still, they're killing it. Yeah, they're legit.
Throw them out, man. What do they do? What is it for?
It's for like weight loss, and it's not really like a veteran oriented place like everyone else, but that company alone is super cool when it comes to like my fiance and my family. They're always giving my fiance the time off, and we're always doing events with them, so they're super cool.
Cool. I'll give me a link and I'll put it in the show notes. Michael, Farrell,
I got nothing.
any
pal.
social media you want to throw out there?
Oh, maybe mine, I guess. Oh, Lacey's.
You never put yours out there.
Yeah, you're
you
right.
always do Lacey's.
Because she's so hot. I don't know. Do you, just look me up, I guess.
All right.
That's
Look
all I
him
got
up.
For you.
Look him up. Hit me up. J Kramer Graphics on...
Fairbear _89.
There you go. Hit him up. J Kramer Graphics. Hit me up. And the backup page, kind of whatever, former Action Guys on Instagram. And number 4, MER Action Guys on Twitter. JKramerGraphics.com. If you need graphic design, I have some free time because I'm off until the end of January from school. So hit me up for any kind of graphic design work you need. And then outside of that, appreciate you guys coming on and have a good night. What?
That was cool.